Hey everybody, Dr. G here. I'm a clinical and forensic psychologist as well as a body language expert, and today we're going to be analyzing whether or not Jeffrey Epstein could still be alive. Before we get started with this, a couple of quick things. One, I wanted to make sure you know this is not a psychological evaluation of any kind. These are just my opinions. In addition to that, I do want to remind you to like and subscribe if you want to see more content just like this. All right, let's go. What we're going to be analyzing today are documents from the Epstein files that raise the question whether or not Jeffrey Epstein could still be alive. Yes, I am as shocked as you are that I am analyzing this and that this is the subject of this video, but I'm going to give you some very compelling reasons why I felt this was necessary. Ever since I started analyzing the Epstein files, I've had people commenting that he in fact is not dead, that he didn't die on August 10th. It's not something that I ever took very seriously until I started looking at some notes that were found in his prison cell. The picture you're looking at right now is actually part of a detailed escape plan. I'm going to walk you through step by step what all of this means. I've gone through and translated all of this, and by the time we're done, you'll understand why I find this so compelling. All right, let's just jump right in. For the sake of context, we're going to look at a few pictures before we actually get to the escape plans, but I think this will help you understand why they're so compelling and where they were found. Now, if you look at this right here, this is L tier. He was housed in what's called the SHU, the Special Housing Unit. L tier was the unit where he was housed. He was on the right side of this unit. He was the first door on the right. Now, as we open that door, as we go in, you can see it's disgusting, just covered in blankets, covered in sheets. And as we go down, there's part of, this was not the noose that was actually found on him. So we still don't know where that is, actually. But although that's part of it, this is part of what was found where he was the next morning. Now, the most interesting part of this cell, at least for what we're talking about today, are some notes that were found. Here's one note. Here's the second note, and that's the one I showed you at the beginning. And here is a third note. And this, I think, is actually the other half of the piece of paper up here. Now, these pictures had actually been released before. I knew that there was a note, but I was never able to read it because this was the angle, this was the shot that we had. And there was no amount of zooming in that could make you see more than a couple of letters here and there. It was impossible to translate, impossible to make sense of, but I was always curious what it said. So what kind of notes was Jeffrey Epstein writing in his cell? I really wanted to know. Well, fortunately, now we have the answer. Now, when you first look at this, it just looks like a mess. It's probably very, very difficult for you to read, so I've gone through and translated it. We're going to look at that in a second, but I wanted you to get a chance to see this.
Okay.
Of letters here and there. It was impossible to translate, impossible to make sense of, but I was always curious what it said. So what kind of notes was Jeffrey Epstein writing in his cell? I really wanted to know. Well, fortunately, now we have the answer. Now, when you first look at this, it just looks like a mess. It's probably very, very difficult for you to read, so I've gone through and translated it. We're going to look at that in a second, but I wanted you to get a chance to see this. One of the things that's important in terms from a handwriting perspective is that I think that Jeffrey Epstein is a very impulsive person. He has really scribbly, bad handwriting, but most of it can be translated. I was able to read most of it, and once we really see all of this in context, you're going to understand why I'm calling it an escape plan. So the way that I've done this is I've gone through and typed out the words on top of this so you can see what I think it all says. And then I moved the words so it was next to them so you can see the word right next to what I think each one means so that you can decide for yourself if you agree with my assessment or if you think it actually means something else. So first, let's go through. I'm going to explain what all of this means. The translation I have here, I am very confident in. If there's anything that I'm less confident in, I will tell you. I will point out things that I'm not sure what it says, or if I'm not certain that's what it says. But if I typed it out here, I'm overwhelmingly sure that this is correct. Now I'm going to explain what everything means, and once I'm done with that, then we're going to go through and I'll let you make your own determinations if you think that I got it right. So I'm going to start with what was most obvious to me, the thing that drew my eye first, where it says red notice, and you put equals EXT. Now, if you don't know what a red notice is, that's an alert that Interpol puts out if there is a fugitive on the loose. If there's someone that is internationally wanted, a red notice notifies agencies that if this person is found, then you extradite them back to the country where they are being looked for. So that's why it says red notice equals EXT. So if there's a red notice out for him, then he will be set up for extradition. That was my first clue that if we're looking at all of this in context, that he was planning on getting out of the country. That was his goal by writing all of this down. Now, from the red notice, there is an arrow pointing back up to this main circle right here. So that means that if he's MIA in the U.S., in other words, if he's missing, so this is the shorthand basically saying he's missing. For anybody that's watching this that isn't from the U.S., I'm going to try my best to explain various acronyms the way that we would do them here. So MIA would be a way to say that he's missing. So if he's MIA in the U.S., then a red notice would occur. Then a red notice would be set out by Interpol. That's what that arrow means. But if we're to look at this circle, right, MIA US, let's look at some of the various branches of this. So visas would suggest that he's going to be planning on going out of the country. He would need to fake his name. He would have to be fake visas, but he would need visas. Something I guess he was considering is that he wrote no rights, so it could be depending on the country he goes to, his rights might be different. Interestingly, he wrote tourism here. Now, if he was planning on leaving the country, whether or not he would be posing as a tourist, or whether or not he would be going to places that have tourism, there's some consideration about tourism, because I'm pretty certain that's what that says. It either says tourism or tourist. His handwriting is so bad. You'll see in a second where the confusion is there. Now, up here it says EXT tax. It could be EST tax, but I think that what this is estate tax. So in other words, if he is to die, how much money goes to estate tax, or that he's considering the estate tax right here. Another branch has banks, so obviously something that he's going to have to consider if he's going to have access to money. Now, here's one that I am somewhat less confident in, is that there's a name written here with dollar signs next to it. I have a question mark because I don't know what letter that is. But it does look like BLCH, like NIL or something like that. But this is very clearly a name and clearly associated with money. And below that, you can see it says guards. It says guards clear as day. That is 100% what this says. So whether or not that means that he needs guards, whether or not that has to do with prison guards, that's unclear, but that is very clearly stating guards right underneath this name and the dollar signs. So if we're to look at the top portion of this, if he is MIA, if he is missing, a red notice will occur. He needs to keep all of these other things in mind. These are all things that he is thinking about. Now, if you look in the top left here, you see a number of letters, M and then R with a line to T with a line to M. And then above that, it looks like either a C or an L and then a dot and then a T. I didn't label those, but I think that that's what that says. So the question is, are these different tiers within the prison where he is? Because he's in L tier, M tier is below him. Are these people's names that he's connecting from one to the other? We don't have enough information for that to be clear, but I just want to point this out. So if later on, when we get more information, if somehow that makes more sense, we're going to circle back and we'll address that. Now, underneath red notice, he wrote K equals exclamation point, exclamation point. My interpretation of that is he considering whether or not, if he's dead, will there not be a red notice? Or if he gets away with him being dead, is there no red notice then? Because there are 3 exclamation points. I typed that out exactly as it's written. To the right of that are the initials LSR. And I say initials because I assume that's what those are. I couldn't find anybody in the Epstein files with those initials, or at least typing them out by those initials. I'm not sure who he might know that has those initials. When I show it to you in a minute, maybe you interpret the letters differently because his handwriting is so bad. But I feel with a high degree of confidence that says LSR, and I don't know what that means, but it's very clear. Now, interestingly, underneath guards, over here on the right, he wrote government, and I believe this says clear. So government clear. That's my best read on the second word. 100% certain it says government. I'd say 70% certain that it says clear. My interpretation, he's looking for a government where he would be clear to go. Now, interestingly, if we go back to the left, underneath LSR, it says Muslim. Now, obviously, he's Jewish, so the question would be, why is he writing Muslim? I interpret that as where he might be ending, where he's thinking about going, where he might end up. Right below it, it says AS. Consider that Arabic states potentially, or Arab states, because if we go a little bit lower, and I know this is confusing, this is hard to follow, there's so much, but I'm trying to get the flow of how he thinks about this, because down below it we see Q-SA. Now there's a lot of different ways you can interpret that. Q could be a question. I think of this, if it's below Muslim and AS, it could be Qatar, Saudi Arabia, or Qatar to Saudi Arabia. That's the way I interpret those letters, because he is a very well-traveled person. He knows people pretty much everywhere. So these are not out of the question as far as what these potential initials could mean. Now, to the right of that, he wrote Nigeria with an exclamation point and underlined that. So now that is a country that does extradite to the U.S. So if we're to assume that Qatar and Saudi Arabia are identified, obviously there's Nigeria. These all seem like possibilities, places that he could consider going. So to summarize what we've got so far, we've got a long way to go. At this point, he's been thinking about if he's missing in the U.S. and it's found out that he's missing, then a red notice would be applied. We would need to have all of these other things in place. If we're to go back to the left a little bit, where it says red notice, if you look below that, it says the name Mara, question mark. Now, unfortunately, I, for the life of me, cannot figure out what it says below that. It says enlist, maybe? It's so unclear. That looks like an E, an N. It's impossible to read that next letter. It looks like an S and a T. So my best guess would be that it says enlist, but that's with a very low degree of certainty. Now, I assume Mara is a name and not code for something else like Mar-a-Lago. I'm sure some people are going to go there, but that would be strange because there's 2 R's, and that's not really how Mar-a-Lago is spelled. But he is writing in code to some extent, so keep in mind, Mara may not be as literal as it seems. Maybe it isn't literally somebody's name. Maybe it literally is. But that's one of those things we're going to earmark, and as I continue to analyze other files in later videos, maybe we'll circle back to that. And this, I can't read any of it. It looks like it says LSR again, but it's such a low degree of certainty I didn't type it on there. It's completely illegible. So I have to mark this off as something where I can't truly translate any of that. Now, below that, it clearly says gangsters, and below that, it clearly says extort and kidnap. So we're going from red notice, and below that it says Mara, something illegible, gangsters, then extort, kidnap. Now, what this line of thought is, I don't know if he's concerned that could happen if it ends up in the wrong country, but there's clearly some train of thought here, starting with Mara and ending with extort, kidnap. Now, if we're to go all the way to the left, to me this looks like the name Nicole. Now that, once again, that's not with a high degree of certainty, but I can't think of anything else that would fit there. Who Nicole is anybody's guess. There are probably people named Nicole in his orbit. There are probably multiple people named Nicole in his orbit, so I'm not going to guess it as a specific person, or I'm not going to guess who it is. Sure, it's a specific person to him, but I'm not going to speculate as to which Nicole this might be. Above that, my interpretation of this picture right here is that I believe this is a little map of the United States. That's what it looks like, just a weird little sketch of the United States and a squiggly thing coming out of it. So to me, that looks like a map. And the lines may just be the bars of being in the prison cell. So there's not as much meaning in that part. Now below that it says island and people. Now he's lived on an island, whether or not he wants to end up on an island. This is somewhat less clear, but those are very clearly the words that are written. So I'm not going to try to interpret too much about what that means because it's its own separate idea. But now I want you to focus on the right side again. Now, on the right here, we see it says jet-US prop. Now, what that means is that he's thinking about whether or not the jet that he would be traveling in is U.S. property. Epstein and his associates were obsessed with aircraft registration, jurisdiction, things like that, and that's what jet-US prop would be. He's thinking about whether or not the jet he's traveling in is, in fact, U.S. property, because that does change some things jurisdictionally, as well as whether or not there's seizure and all of these other potential issues that could come up. So the fact that he's thinking about that is important. What else is important is that jet US prop was written in a different color. Most of these were written in blue ink. Jet US prop was written in black ink. Now the reason that matters is that means that this was enough of a plan that where he wrote it out and he came back to it. It wasn't just sketched out and thrown away. He came back with additional thoughts later on. Now below that, you can see this little scribbled box with the word Brad on top. I'm going to scroll up so you can see it without my comments on it. So you see it's a little square, a little building next to it, and on the left I interpret this as an airplane, at least I believe that's what it is, or it could be additional buildings, but it very, very clearly has the word Brad written on top. And then below it and to the right of it, you see what I interpret as supposed to be where cars and planes are parked. I think this right here is a little airplane. So when I saw this, I immediately thought it looked like a private airport, because this shape and design of the building is unusual. Airports are low and they're large. It's a very distinct look. So I was curious what the closest private airport is. The closest private airport to where he was is Teterboro. It also is one of the busiest. I was curious if he'd ever actually been there, so I typed it in the Epstein files, and it showed that it's been mentioned about 7,000 times. So this is definitely one he's familiar with. It does seem to resemble at least this style of airport. I'm not insisting it is this one, but it certainly looks quite a lot like it. So if nothing else, this lends credence to the idea that this building he's drawing is a private airport. He is thinking about getting to a private airport based on everything else he's saying and getting out of there. And the name Brad is associated with that. Who that is that a pilot? Is that somebody who would help him get there? That's unclear, but the name Brad is very, very clearly written on top of that airport. And you may be thinking, well, he's just fantasizing about escaping, and that may be part of it. I think the unusual aspect of that is that he would put a specific name with it. He would write a name on top of the airport. Now, as far as I know, Brad does not stand for anything. It's not an acronym for anything. I take that in a very literal sense as a name. Now, as you can see right here, a portion is redacted. All we can see is that something was underlined. I would absolutely love to know what this said, because something here is very important because it's underlined many times. But if we're to look to the right of that, it said medical/PT. Now, the way I interpret that, PT typically is shorthand for patient. It very clearly says medical. So the question would be, is that how he's thinking about being transported, as a medical patient? Possibly. So if we're to scroll down a little further, we see G/computer PB, some question marks, then VI. Now immediately when I saw this, I knew what this was referring to. PB is Palm Beach, VI is Virgin Islands. So if we're wondering what has something that he is worried about on it or something he's thinking about, it's the computer in Palm Beach. That's the one with the question marks. And just to be clear, so you know that that's actually how he would refer to his computer, I took a snippet from an email from Ghislaine Maxwell. Why do I have no sound on this computer? And it has PV in parentheses next to it because that's referring to the Palm Beach computer. So this is literally how they refer to these computers. Now, as far as the G/ goes, I interpret that, and this is my best guess. I'm trying to tell you what I think is a guess versus what seems more clear. I'm guessing that that somehow is in reference to Ghislaine Maxwell. So as far as where this PB computer is, I would assume that she is in fact the one who has it. So if we start looking at this in total, it becomes very clear that there is a very detailed plan of escaping, and he is actively trying to figure out where he would want to go, how he would get there, and what he would do. Just so you can see for yourself what some of these various words say. I'm going to show you some of the more questionable ones. You can see if you have a different translation. But as we look at this, I put all of the words next to, above, or below my translation so you can see for yourself, see whether or not you think that's actually what it says, or if you have a different interpretation that somehow makes more sense. But I've read a lot of his handwriting. I do feel confident in anything that I actively translated that that's in fact what it says. Now there is one part that I feel unclear on and I didn't reference, which is this part right here. It looks like it says Healthline, Heathrow, or something that starts with H-E-A-T-H. But it's so hard to read, I don't want to present a potential interpretation because all four of these are right next to each other, and I think they would all be based on getting these right. And this is the one part that feels very uncertain to me. So if you have any thoughts about what this says, the one below it looks like it says press or press T, and then after that it looks almost like it says 3 hits or shorts or shots. This is just too unclear. So I would love to be able to have a full interpretation of this, but this makes it impossible. But as you look with words like gangsters, it seems very clear that's what it says next to it. Extort, kidnap, it seems very clear that that's what those words are. Having completely abysmal handwriting myself does help me, I think, understand this a bit more. And as you can see, the name with the $, B-L-E-C-H, could be an L, I suppose, but I would think B-L-E-C-H-N-I-L or something along that line, or that last L could actually be an S. When we look at all of this together, it seems pretty clear that his goal was to get out of there, and he was thinking about all of the different logistics of doing that. Now we're going to briefly look at 2 more documents. These will be quick, but they do give a little bit more color to what we just looked at. Now this next document right here, I'm not going to bother reading through all this. I don't think it's of consequence, but this is basically him complaining about being in prison. But then when we flip it upside down, which is down here, it comes out with something else. This does seem a bit more relevant. So the top, it says something about data. That's unclear, but we do have the years 2002 to 2005. We have 2 initials below that, which I would assume are names, but maybe they stand for something else. But once again, they are coded. He does not want this to be obvious what he's talking about. But the more significant part is directly below that. Jail out equals 10. Now that seems pretty clear. He's talking about getting out of jail. Now, what does the 10 stand for? Is he paying somebody $10 million? Is it 10 o'clock? What is 10? All we know is that he is saying jail out equals 10. And I think that's extremely consequential, particularly given the context of the other page we looked at. Now below it, some of this is written very clearly, but it's unclear what he's referring to. So he says nothing at all, and then the last word, straw, show. I just can't read those middle letters enough to make that make sense. And then below that, no, it looks like it says no sign me, but it definitely says no something me. So this obviously pairs together with the jail out equals 10, but he just writes so strangely, it's impossible to give you full context, and I don't want to make any major assumptions about what this is saying. So now this is the last page, blankets, AVR, and Medi, and then it says watch, exclamation point. Now this is very interesting because he had an excessive amount of blankets in his prison cell. We know that. That's very well documented. That was acknowledged in the OIG report, actually. So the fact that he had excessive blankets is a fact. AVR, the cameras were not working. So we know for a fact the cameras did not work at that time. And the last one is Medi, which is how people that think he escaped would have done it, would have been through medical. And he says watch, exclamation point. So what is it that he's watching for? Something to do with the blankets, the AVR, or the Medi? But those are three of the big things that had to be taken care of if he was actually going to pull off something like this. So I think this page, despite the fact it's just a couple of words, could potentially be very consequential. All right, let's go ahead and wrap things up here. Hopefully this is helping you better understand some of what we saw today. I know it's hard to read. I know it's confusing, but there does seem to be some logic to it. There does seem to be some real thought put behind it, and it does seem to be that he was trying to work through the logistics of how to escape. Now, whether or not you think that he escaped or was murdered, he certainly seemed to be planning for the future. He was someone that was actively thinking ahead. He seemed to have hope that there was a way out of this situation. So I think the official report on how he died continues to remain the least likely. If you have any thoughts about this, or if you have a different interpretation of any of this information, please feel free to let me know in the comments below. I'm very curious if anybody else has figured out any other pieces to this puzzle. I am continuing to work on other videos about the Epstein files, so if there's anything else you want me to analyze regarding the Epstein files, also let me know about that. Last thing before we get finished up is I do want to remind you to like and subscribe if you want to see more content just like this. All right, thanks for watching.
Easy peasy, boys.
Step up!
Come on, come on.
Fighter down! Next warrior! Step up!
And the problem is Israel has continued to lie and lie and lie and then been caught lying. All that was Israeli propaganda. And they're the only ones that have actually been caught red-handed raping prisoners. Israel is a terrorist.
When did Israel kill 1,200 people in a single day and wound nearly 7,000? You know, with respect, and I say this respectfully, I understand why you want to support the Palestinian cause. It doesn't seem to me like you've really studied, or perhaps don't even want to study, the facts about all this, because it would go against your own narrative. Would that be fair?
I mean, look, I got no dog in this fight, Pierce. I'm not Palestinian, you know, I'm not Muslim. I'm just saying what I believe is right.
This video, Piers Morgan just went way too far with Dan Bilzerian, relentlessly pushing him to his absolute breaking point, to the extent that Dan couldn't hold himself back any longer and completely shut Piers down live, right there on his own show, Piers Morgan Uncensored. I can guarantee you, this is something you absolutely do not want to miss under any circumstances. So grab your seat, because we're about to watch the whole video together and witness every single explosive moment as it happens.
Because you've been very vocal about Israel in particular. You know, even when Yahya Sinwar, the head of Hamas, was killed by the IDF, you were out lauding him as a hero. You know, to most people, he's the despicable head of a terrorist organization that perpetrated on October the 7th one of the worst terror attacks in modern history. What's heroic about that? When did Israel kill 1,200 people in a single day and wound nearly 7,000?
Well, I mean, you have, you know, I mean, Nakba, there was, you know, what, 15,000 people killed during Nakba. I mean, there was Sabra and Shatila. I mean, that was 3,500 civilians. Then you have 2014, they killed 1,500 civilians. 500 plus were kids. I mean, so any one of those days would have been much worse than October 7th, but nobody really talks about it.
Those didn't happen in a single
day. And October 7th is not nearly as bad as what they say.
Well, those didn't happen in single days, as you know.
Well, I mean, you have, I mean, Sabra and Shatila, I mean, that was 3,500 people, so that was basically 7 October 7ths. And October 7th, I think the numbers get inflated a lot too, because you're not taking into account that it was only 650 civilians, and there was the Hannibal Directive that was employed, and the Hannibal Directive is when the military is basically killing civilians so that they aren't taken as hostages. And, you know, that had to be hundreds of people, so I would argue that it was less than 500 civilians that were killed, and to me, that is much less than what, the Israelis have been doing to the Palestinians.
But you said
even the year when October 7th happened, they had killed, hundreds of Palestinians that year. It was the bloodiest year for kids. So that was a reply to what had been happening.
But when you say that October 7th wasn't as bad as people have said, what do you mean by that? Because from Hamas's own boasting through their GoPro cameras, they mutilated, burned alive, raped and abused, beheaded some people, set fire to homes, they kidnapped babies, they kidnapped Holocaust survivors, grandparents. They did just about every act of depravity it is possible to do. And they didn't just do it, they gleefully posted it on social media and the internet so that we could all watch in real time the horrors that they were perpetrating. It's hard to imagine a more horrific act than what happened that day. Why would you try to downplay it?
Well, I mean, there was only 2 babies killed from what I was told, and one was in the hospital, and the other one was shot by a bullet. There was no babies in ovens. There was no, beheaded people that I saw. The rapes were disproven. So all that was Israeli propaganda. And the problem is Israel has continued to lie and lie and lie, and they've been caught lying. And they're the only ones that have actually been caught red-handed raping prisoners. And they've done it, and the people that raped the prisoners were now heroes, and they got released, and there was nothing that happened to them. So I think it's very hypocritical to focus on things that they're doing and then try and blame them, on Hamas or the Palestinians.
It's interesting because
it's just, to me, total bullshit. It's just Israeli propaganda.
Like, can you just see how Piers Morgan is literally spiraling out of control? Every movement of his body, every twitch in his face shows just how desperate he is. openly revealing his vulnerability for the world to see. It's crystal clear that no matter what Dan Bilzerian is saying, Piers Morgan simply cannot handle it anymore. If you look at his expression, you can almost feel him counting the seconds, waiting for Dan to finally stop so he can jump back in and continue defending Israel like some fake agent of an Israeli agency. So first, pay close attention to what Piers Morgan is saying, and then make sure you comment your thoughts down below, because this is not something you want to just scroll past.
Actually been caught red-handed raping prisoners, and they've done it, and the people that raped the prisoners were now heroes, and they got released and there was nothing that happened to them. So I think it's very hypocritical to focus on things that they're doing and then try and blame them, on Hamas or the Palestinians.
It's interesting because
it's just, to me, total bullshit. It's just Israeli propaganda.
Yeah, I mean, listen, many people will listen to you and think that what you're spewing is bullshit propaganda from the other side. And the reason I say that is you say there was no raping or abuse of women, and yet the UN Special Representative on Sexual Violence in Conflict, Pramila Patten, reported in March this year that there was clear and convincing information that Israeli hostages in Gaza experienced sexual violence, including rape, sexual...
This guy looks fucking crazy. He's so stoic, it's crazy,
cruel,
bro.
inhumane, and
He's right,
treatment,
but he
and
looks
reasonable
crazy.
grounds
He
to
looks
believe
fucking
such
crazy,
abuse
bro.
is ongoing. There was also reasonable grounds to believe that conflict-related sexual violence occurred during the 7th of
I've never
October
seen
attacks
such a stoic
in
dude,
multiple
bro.
locations
Holy
across
fuck.
Gaza periphery, including rape and gang rape in at least 3 locations. So when you say it didn't happen, what you're really saying is you think that the United Nations report into all this, which established it absolutely did happen and was horrific, is what? Is a pack of lies? And if so, why would the United Nations lie?
I am called Blade.
Look, I wasn't
for a
there,
reason.
but I have, seen articles that said that it did not happen. So, if it did happen, that's terrible, and I think that's, atrocious. I don't ever believe in rape, but during Sabra and Shatia, there was a girl raped in front of her father, and that's happened on the other side numerous times. I mean, it happened in the prison. I mean, they were literally rioting because they felt like they had the right to rape these prisoners. So, to me, I think it's a bit hypocritical. You can't believe that you have the right to rape prisoners and then complain about them raping, your civilians as well. So I don't think it just can only go one way. I think it's atrocious on both sides.
You said Hamas are not terrorists, they're an army fighting for their country against the worst terror organization on the planet. And yet Hamas were given power in Gaza in 2005. They were given billions of dollars, a lot of it in a very suspect manner by Benjamin Netanyahu and his government, because he wanted to create a rift between Palestinian groups, and I completely accept that. But there's no doubt from what has now emerged that Hamas spent most of that money not on benefiting the lives of Palestinian people in Gaza, but on building an elaborate tunnel system and arming themselves to the teeth so that they could perpetrate this act of horror on October the 7th in a strike against Israel that they hope would decapitate Israel. I'm just curious why you would go out of your way. Now, you say you've read things, but you're a guy of big influence. You've got a big following, 30-odd million people on Instagram. With respect, and I say this respectfully, I understand why you want to support the Palestinian cause, and I'm sure there'd be many points of agreement we would have on that. But just to say, well, I read somewhere there were no rapes and abuse, it doesn't seem to me like you've really studied, or perhaps don't even want to study, the facts about all this, because it would go against your own narrative. Would that be fair?
I mean, look, I got no dog in this fight, Pierce. I'm not Palestinian. I'm not Muslim. I'm just saying what I believe is right. And let's just say there was rapes. I mean, I think that's terrible. But like I said, they are, an occupied state, and they're operating in apartheid. So when you are kept in an open air prison, there's going to be resistance, and how that resistance manifests itself is, it's going to be violent eventually. I mean, if you kill enough people and you take enough land and you treat people like second-class citizens, and and you're stealing land in the West Bank, and you're just basically, encroaching these people's human rights on a daily basis, there's going to be repercussions. So, I'm not going to be the judge or jury, and I'm not going to condemn these people for fighting back. I think nobody had an issue with, South African apartheid and their resistance, so I don't know why there's an issue with the resistance in the clear apartheid that's going on here.
You went on a Patrick Bet-Davis podcast, he's a friend of this show. You said the Jews killed JFK and that Israel wanted October the 7th to happen so that Israel, had a reason to take the land. Let's just discuss those two things. What do you mean the Jews killed JFK?
So I believe that was an Israeli Mossad operation, and they've committed multiple false flag attacks. I mean, they've, the USS Liberty, you've got the Levin affair. I mean, so they've got a history of doing this, and I don't think it's crazy to think that they were involved in that assassination, and that's the reason that Trump didn't want to, release those files. And I think clearly it had to be embarrassing. Otherwise, why wouldn't he want to release it? And that's the only thing that I could think of that would be embarrassing, because everybody from that time is pretty much dead by now. So it would make sense. I mean, they wanted to cut off, it's now AIPAC, but the Zionist, organization that was doing all the funding that should have been registered as a foreign entity. And, he wanted to register them under FARA. He wanted to, take away their ability to have nukes. And, they didn't like that. So I believe that they killed JFK.
But just to be clear, you have absolutely no evidence that any Jews killed JFK, do you? Nothing.
Well, I mean, that's not true. I mean, Jack Rubenstein, that was the person that killed the supposed Patsy Lee Harvey Oswald. I mean, he was a Jewish mob guy. And, there's been numerous documentaries tying the, Jewish mafia, the CIA. I mean, I wasn't there, but everything that I've seen evidence-wise points to Israel. Really? And, they're doing it in Epstein Island. They did it in Epstein Island. I mean,
Yeah, but here's the problem I have with this. You say everything you've seen, right? It just seems to me like you see a lot of conspiracy theory stuff. I've read a lot about the JFK assassination. There is zero evidence that any Jews killed John F. Kennedy. Zero. Unless you want to go off into some mad conspiracy theory rabbit hole. And I say to you that you make these big statements and you have a huge following of people, many of whom will think, well, wow, if Dan Bilzerian says it, maybe it's true. And that way, I would argue, this is how a lot of conspiracy theory stuff in the end gets propagated and promoted to the detriment of society. Because people like you who are very smart, there's no question of that, and very successful, and made a lot of money being very successful. I'm just curious why you want to be so inflammatory without actually having any evidence. And as you say, to just sit back and say, well, I wasn't there. Well, I wasn't there. Obviously, I wasn't even born. But I know that there's no credible evidence that Jewish people killed JFK. And yet you just say it as a fact, as if somehow we should just believe this.
At this moment, it's crystal clear that Piers Morgan is going all out to attack Dan Bilzerian, fixating on that comment where Dan supposedly said Jewish people killed JFK. But Dan Bilzerian...
That's kind of retarded that he says Jewish. Just say Israel, because there's a lot of people who are Jewish but are not Zionist, who do not believe in what Israel's doing, and do not believe in like those end times and that all Jews should go there, all those bullshit, right? I feel like Dan Bilzerian is right about everything except for generalizing all the Jews as being evil. That's his mistake. That's a bad thing. Obviously.
Bilzerian calmly explained the full context, giving a clear and rational response. Yet, after just a few moments, Piers came back again, repeating the same question as if he hadn't heard a word. You might remember how he even accused Dan of supporting Palestine, questioning why he would do so. But Dan Bilzerian responded with grace, stating he is neither Muslim nor Palestinian, so there's no personal gain or profit in supporting Palestine. Dan went even further, revealing that he lost hundreds of millions of dollars in business just because he stood with Palestine. When Piers Morgan realized there was no way to win this debate with facts or evidence, he resorted to attacking Dan again, circling back to that PBD podcast comment about Jewish people killing JFK.
No, I didn't say it as a fact. I said that's what I believe. And if you look at, the history of people that have criticized Israel, Gaddafi, Saddam Hussein, JFK, Nixon, I mean, they all have similar fates. And so I don't think that's a coincidence. I also think that today a lot of, quote unquote conspiracy theories have all come true. So, about 2-3 years ago, being a conspiracy theorist, you were a nut job, wacko, whatever. And now it's just like every single one of them seems to be coming true, coming to fruition. So I don't know. I mean, I think once you see the government lie to you and lie to you on a scale like they did during COVID, you start questioning a lot of things. And I think it's healthy to question things. And I think one of the big reasons why I've marched down this path so far is because once I started questioning Israel and once I started speaking out against Israel, I saw the ramifications and I saw the pushback. And the side of right is usually never the side that's silencing people. You know, the people that are on the right side of history are not the ones trying to, you know, cut off free speech or punish people for what they say. Netanyahu testified in front of Congress that they had weapons of mass destruction, which was a total lie, and it was a lie to benefit Israel because that was an enemy of Israel. So what I'm saying is they're the beneficiary of what we are doing, and it's not in the best interest of the United States. So clearly they've got control over our politicians.
Yeah, but to be clear again, though,
I'm not saying our politicians are Jewish. I'm saying our politicians are doing what they're telling them to do.
Right. Well, that's slightly different to what you did say. When you said on Patrick Bet Davis' podcast as well, they play the victim card so effing much about Jewish people. I mean, do you not understand why Jewish people might feel a sense of victimhood, given that 6 million of them were killed in World War II by a genocidal monster in the Holocaust? Do you not understand why that might make Jewish people feel that, yes, they have indeed been victims?
Yeah, I mean, that figure's been revised, but, you know, I believe that Jewish supremacy is the greatest threat to America, and I think it's the greatest threat to the world today. I truly believe that.
What do you mean the figure's been revised? What do you mean?
Well, they said that it was 4 million that died in Auschwitz, and then they said it was down to 1 million, so they've revised the figure.
Well, how many people? How many people do you think were killed in the Holocaust?
271,000 that died in Auschwitz.
He actually said the thing. 271,000. That's crazy.
How many do you think were killed in the Holocaust?
He already said it, man.
I don't know.
He literally already said it.
How many do you think were killed in the Holocaust?
He just said it, no?
It was 4 million that died in Auschwitz, and then they said it was down to 1 million, so they've revised the figure.
Well, how many people? How many people do you think were killed in the Holocaust?
271,000
The Red Cross.
that died in Auschwitz.
How many do you think were killed in the
That's
Holocaust?
crazy, bro.
I don't know, but I would bet my entire net worth that it was under 6 million.
Again, I simply ask you, Dan, what's the motivation for making claims like that? What do you stand to gain by trying to diminish what happened in World War II?
I'm just answering your question. I mean, I'm a gambler, so...
Guys, can you even see the devilish behavior coming from Piers Morgan? This guy is throwing the most controversial questions at Dan Bilzerian, forcing him to answer, and yet Dan remains completely fearless, fully aware that responding will ignite controversy. But the moment Dan gives an answer, Piers Morgan jumps in, saying, "Why are you making these controversial claims? Like, seriously, Piers? Are you even hearing yourself?" Watching this debate, I just lost the respect I had for you, Piers Morgan. I knew you were sold out, but I had no idea you had literally sold your soul to Israel. Now, you're being completely hypocritical, acting abnormally, and showing a side of yourself that's shocking to witness. Guys, I want to know your thoughts. Do you think Piers Morgan is behaving fairly, or is he acting like a paid agent? Drop your opinions in the comments because I really want to hear what you think.
But I would bet my entire net worth that it was under 6 million.
Again, I simply ask you, Dan, what's the motivation for making claims like that? What do you stand to gain by trying to diminish what happened in World War II?
I'm just answering your question. I mean, I'm a gambler, so if I think that something is a low probability, then I would bet on it. And I don't know for a fact, but the evidence all says that it was less than 6 million. I mean, just the mathematics don't work. Like, you can't cremate that many bodies. Like, the whole gas chamber thing is a very ineffective way to kill people. So when people have researched this and they've done the due diligence, they said it's mathematically impossible.
You see, I'm sorry, but I just find that unbelievably offensive, and I'm not even Jewish. Again, there is clear evidence that 6 million people, almost predominantly Jewish, were killed in the Holocaust. 12 million were killed by the Nazis in total. They were a genocidal monstrosity, the Nazis, who wanted to eliminate the Jewish people. And they tried extremely hard to do that.
You said 12 million were killed?
The Nazis killed 12 million people in World War II. 6 million were killed in
You said 12?
6 million were killed in the Holocaust. Or do you not believe that either?
Okay. I mean, Jews have killed far more Christians. Well, Jews have killed far more. Let's just accept the 6 million figure. Jews have killed far more Christians than that. I mean, it's not even close. If you look at the Bolshevik genocide, you look at the Holodomor, I mean, they've killed way more Christians. I mean, they basically invented the genocide. So, they deny the Armenian genocide. Israel denies that. They've lobbied the U.S. to deny that. I'm Armenian. They killed half of my people, so, and I'm not offended by that. If somebody questions that, it's not some crazy thing. I mean, Israel denies the Armenian Holocaust, okay?
So you just watched the entire video, and I think it's absolutely evident Piers Morgan acted like a completely sold-out agent for Israel. He relentlessly tried to attack Dan Bilzerian, pushing the Israeli narrative, defending Israel at every turn, yet not once did he show even a shred of mercy or sadness for the people of Gaza. He didn't criticize even 1% of Israel's cruelty towards Palestinians. Meanwhile, Dan Bilzerian stood fearlessly defending Palestine and Gaza the entire time, completely unbothered by what Western media or anyone else might think. Still, Piers Morgan could not accept it. All he cared about was defending the Jews and Israel, showing zero empathy or remorse for the Palestinians. That right there proves that this debate or interview was totally one-sided from Piers Morgan. He clearly tried to push a particular narrative and didn't maintain any neutrality at all. But hey, I might be wrong, so I'm leaving this question to you guys. Do you think Piers Morgan was neutral, or was he acting as a sold-out agent for Israel? Drop your points of view in the comments, because I really want to hear what you think. And please, to help this channel, like this video, share it with your friends and family, and show some support by subscribing. It's free, but it helps me immensely to make more videos like this. So come on guys, show some support and subscribe to the channel.
Epstein's Island. To understand it fully, we've remodeled the entire island, and we've divided it into 3 main sections. So we can tell the complete story of how this place was built and what it was hiding. The first villa sits on a point just below the main house, built years after Epstein purchased the island. Next to it is another residence, connected to the pool complex by a lower level doorway. This one even had an outdoor bath backed by a giant mirror looking out toward the sea. Facing the ocean is a wide stone patio. Set into the floor are 2 mirrored shell designs along with the letter E. It may have been decoration or something more symbolic. Above it all is the main house itself, the largest residence on the island. When Epstein bought Little St. James in 1998, this house was already here, but he had it remodeled and expanded into part of a much larger complex. The sea-facing side has a veranda,
while the back of the house opens into the pool area. That pool complex is massive. It has 4 cabanas, a pergola, and a large swimming pool in the middle. At the far end of the pool was a statue of a seated archer, and beyond it, a painted compass that
Wait, but that Jew on Twitter told me Epstein was a Muslim.
some mistook for a helipad. Parts of the pool complex were 2-storied, with staircases and hidden doors that led into lower levels.
Dungeons? Wait, they had tunnels? They had tunnels?
Not far away, along the beach, another villa was hidden behind thick trees. Visitors usually arrive by sea. Boats pulled into the island's jetty, which had a covered loading and waiting area. Those who came by air.
You know that Always Sunny joke where it's like, because of the implication. When these girls go on a boat with me, they're gonna put out, because of the implication on an island that's only accessible by boat, they're going. They're going.
Landed at the grassy helicopter pad. It had small shelters for passengers and luggage. Nearby, 2 strange details stand out. At the top of a slope is a giant monkey statue.
Harambe? Is that Harambe? Why is this here?
And beside it, a stone staircase that leads up the hill, then stops abruptly, earning it the name the Stairs to Nowhere. This northern section of the island was meant to impress. Moving toward the center of the island, the design shifts. Here, the focus is less on luxury and more on control. Tucked into the trees is a low building, almost hidden from view. Its purpose is still unknown. Just beyond it lies the island's main service area. This section held the machines that kept everything running. The desalination plant for fresh water.
How many employees do they have on this island? This is like operating like Rolling Loud. It's like Coachella over here. They must have had at least like 50 to 100 staff members.
Generators for power, storage rooms, and sewage management. Some of these buildings were built directly into the hillside. Their flat rooftops doubled as parking pads, and vents cut into the ground hinted at larger rooms below. In one case, drone footage even captured doors leading deeper into the hill.
Jew. They had tunnels, man. They had...
Raising questions about what might have been hidden underground.
I do think that some of the staff members, I think there's so many recordings from this that haven't been released yet. Some whistleblowers out there. If you are out there, if you can hear me, release all the footage you have. It gotta be.
From this hub, a steep road winds upward. On the surface, it looks like a simple path, but it may cover a water pipeline that connects to the island's fountain. The fountain itself sat quietly in the middle of the island, ringed with benches. In one video, deer were seen grazing nearby, giving the strange sense of calm in a place filled with secrets.
Someone said that it was shaped the same way as the Nickelodeon logo. Is it really? Nickelodeon, that's the Cartoon Network, well, that's the network that had Dan Schneider, who was recently accused of raping all the kids that went on their TV shows. Nickelodeon. Is that really true? Hold on. This is the best shape. There's no way. Nickelodeon. Epstein Island Sky View. It's literally exactly the same. Just rotated because of the circle.
On your feet! On your feet!
That's schizo?
Kinda, but you never know, man.
I don't
These
know,
days,
man.
you never
Dan
know.
Schneider, by the way, guess what?
That's
I'm
exactly
not gonna
the
say
same.
what race, what doctor. Dan Schneider, Nickelodeon, you remember. Holy mo, this guy. Dan put it inside her Schneider. Look at that motherfucker, bro. God damn, he's an ugly fuck. We saw that documentary the whole time. But yeah, he was like the Harvey Weinstein for kids. Oh, Dan Schneider. iCarly feet.
the
Oh,
world
I'm not
is one
even
big
gonna pull that
fucking
up on
retarded
YouTube. Why is that
place.
the first search result? Fucking hell.
Closer to the southern edge of this section, a massive sundial stands. Once, it was surrounded by 13 brightly painted benches. Some say representing the 13 ruling bloodlines in conspiracy lore. The
13 in numerology, obviously an evil number. Most buildings and elevators, they don't have a 13th floor.
13 ruling bloodlines in conspiracy lore. The face of the sundial resembles a Masonic design, another detail that fueled speculation.
Probably the sun god.
Nearby, smaller structures dotted the coast. One open-air cabana seemed to have massage tables
You said there's 13 bloodlines of the Masons. Is that true? Problem.
beneath its straw roof. Another beachside building,
Yeah, Friday the
now
13th.
only ruins, may have been for changing clothes or toilets.
I don't know.
Close to the sundial, an odd patch of beach is marked out on Google Maps, blurred as if to hide something. On higher ground sits a large building with 3 garage doors and a row of sealed windows. Some have described it as a staff barracks.
Was Epstein a numbers guy? Gay. I'm a numbers guy.
Others as storage. Either way, it stood apart from the luxury of the main house, suggesting it was built for those who worked, or were kept, on the island. This middle zone tied everything together. The southern stretch of the island is where the strangest and most unsettling designs appear. At the far southwest tip stands the most infamous structure of all, the so-called temple. Painted in bold blue and white stripes,
Identical to the Israel flag, which is so funny because that Jew earlier was like, it looks like it's the Kaaba. Like, shut up, bro. Hold on. Let me just show you for the people that don't know. Why would they choose those colors? Obviously, it looks like a place of worship. Very deliberate stuff.
it once had a golden dome and statues of Poseidon and birds perched on its corners. From the outside, it looks like something out of another world. Early visitors described its inside as a music room with bookshelves, a grand piano, and even a portrait of Epstein with a pope. But by 2009,
With Epstein with the Pope? Are they flexing? What it looks, if that's true, it looks like they're flexing who they were able to compromise.
with bookshelves, a grand piano, and even a portrait of Epstein with a pope.
Let's see, hold on.
That's a flex.
Pope Epstein.
Your
Okay.
pain amuses me.
Wow. Shout out to the Catholics. Hope it's a successful Lent. But in Catholicism, this is the leader of the Catholic Church, and what he says goes.
Yes, beat him mercilessly. His skull is as thick as an ogre's.
But by 2019, drone footage revealed only scaffolding, mattresses, and junk,
Pitiful
as if it had been stripped bare.
Go on.
Mattresses,
Take
just like they found the
another
bloody
one.
mattresses
Thank
in the
you for
tunnels in New
saving
York.
me the trouble.
Some believe a small nearby shed hides entrances underground, though nothing has ever been proven. One site shows a pergola with 2 sealed doors built into the hillside. A second building that once stood here was destroyed during Hurricane Irma, leaving behind only a flagpole and a concrete slab. This part of the island also served as a dumping ground. Trash was buried under dirt, but over time, pieces surfaced again. Visitors later reported seeing everything from machinery to broken
give me that
furniture
fucking thing.
left rotting under the sun.
Helmet, come on. Helmet.
Above the dump is a second swimming pool.
Shit.
Unlike the grand pool complex near the main house, this one was smaller, attached to a 1,200 square foot building with a garage-style door. Other features add to the eerie design. A flight of stairs to nowhere climbs up the hillside.
Yeah, what's up with those stairs to nowhere? What's the point of that shot? Is there like some Masonic? What's the purpose of stairs to nowhere?
Ending abruptly with a statue at its
Invaders
top.
have breached the defenses!
A large monkey statue sits nearby, silent and unsettling. At the highest point of the island, a tall telecom tower looms, with Wi-Fi repeaters fixed to buildings all around, ensuring constant surveillance and communication. Here, on this southern edge, beauty and mystery collide. The temple, the sundial, the sealed doors, and the landfill, all of it suggests an island designed not only for privacy.
Does anyone think that this... I don't know if that's really schizo with the Nickelodeon logo thing, but I don't know, bro. That seems like way too much. I can't unsee it. Especially... I don't know, man.
He was chilling there, bro.
A reach? Check if Harambe's in the files. Rest in peace.
But for secrecy.
There's so much more that hasn't been uncovered, and that will probably never be uncovered. But for anyone to deny the ritualistic aspects of this, they're in complete denial. But I think it's important to focus on what we can. I'm not in the files, dumbass. I'm not in the files. Are there any more good videos like that? We could go through Jmail again, but I want to do more research about this stuff, because I'm not seeing like really anyone else cover it. Not seeing anyone else cover it. Have you?
Replacement quickly! Fight! Next warrior, step up! Makthura!
What's this fucking mage doing, bro? Just slow the mobs. Just slow the mobs, bro.
traitor down!
All right, so let's get on to the main part. The Epstein updates are catastrophic.
Yeah.
Mind-blowing. Or I'm not exaggerating. This is the craziest shit.
My new favorite celebrity.
The DOJ dropped over 3 million files. And it's naming all of the richest, most powerful people in the world. And it's bombing on people like Bill Gates, who we already knew was in the files. Bill Gates is so bad. He is... I don't know how he
I don't think
shows
my
face.
jaw was ever so on the floor as when I heard, like, I literally, I still can't stop thinking about it.
And then there's the email from Epstein blackmailing Bill Gates with the explicit. So here, watch this. So this is a letter that Epstein apparently drafted to send to Gates. This was in his own. He sent it to himself, Epstein. But clearly, this is a letter he intended to send Gates. This.
A draft.
Wait, this isn't the whole thing. The whole thing is spectacular.
Okay, it's the link under it. I've always been sus about Bill Gates.
Billy boy.
And it just got worse when he did that poop water shit.
Aw.
I thought the poop water was dope.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Does someone want to volunteer to read this so I can? Pretty beefy.
Okay.
Go ahead, Dan. This is
I guess I
dish.
could.
Thank you.
Can you send me? Where's the link?
It's in Discord.
Okay, just so I can read it off my own screen.
Yeah.
All right, this is from Epstein to Epstein. This is Epstein to Epstein.
Yeah, so it's a draft he wrote to himself.
I see.
But clearly intended to and probably sent to Bill. It had to be. Look at all the effort he put into it.
Okay, let's see. I haven't actually read this yet, so I'll be
Oh, you're gonna love this.
Nice. Dear Bill, I cannot believe that you have chosen to both disregard and discard our friendship developed over the last 6 years. Wow, that is sad. Fake friends. I'm aware that accidents happen. It is how each of us has chosen to deal with this unfortunate event that has me dismayed beyond comprehension. You decided to discharge me from my job, had Larry, your PR person, tell me that I engaged in morally inappropriate behavior, and then... Wait, Epstein was accused of morally inappropriate behavior? Wow.
No. Unthinkable.
Asked me to be the major actor in a cover-up so that you can maintain the reputation that you have worked so hard to achieve. Shortly after my critical eye operation, I spent my day having your emails read to me as to not miss a beat. When I could see out of one eye, my first task was to correct my vision in that one eye so that I could read them myself. What the
So
fuck?
dramatic.
It's
Wait,
so...
wait till you get to it. He literally outlines blackmail.
Okay.
Stunning.
Little eye rolly.
I assumed that the dedication to our relationship ran both ways. Larry has now asked me to recommit to a confidentiality agreement and have categorically told me that you were of the firm mind that we should no longer have any direct ongoing business relationship. Okay. So far, I'm interpreting this as Bill Gates told him to fuck off and was trying to distance himself from it.
Yep.
Which in a sense is good for Bill.
Yep. So
Okay.
far, so good.
Because probably his wife was like, you better send this right now.
This is 2013,
Right.
this email.
2013.
2008 is when the first, like, Epstein.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So far, so good.
Right. In this email. But with a
Get
total disregard for its impact on the public perception of my reputation, you requested that I diligently avoid the truth, tell people that Bill will not invest with me, and craft answers that suit yours and Melinda's needs. In fairness, you did agree to send your letter of recommendation should a future employer ask for one. You have told me that Melinda insists on me ignoring our friendship and not even communicating with you unless Larry, question mark, is copied or present. I don't know what the question mark was all about. Though you have consistently maintained that I could not have done a better job and that I was underpaid compared to my contribution, you then, beyond all sense of fairness and frankly decency, said that a generous compensation for keeping the Gates' reputation intact, you would let me keep what we agreed I had already owned, the investment participations.
This all
Just as an aside,
your fault.
something from seeing a lot of these emails, the way
Horrible
this guy,
punctuation.
oh my God,
Horrible.
just the way he's like a caveman. I'm not like
I would have
so many of these. It's just like, what the fuck is going on?
You know why? Because he's writing it while he's getting a massage.
Oh, if it's on the phone. But I feel like when I type on the phone, it auto punctuates it decently.
The punctuation is crazy, but it's not even that. It's just like run-on sentences.
You know what it
and,
could be? But it could be voice to text.
I was thinking that too. When was this sent? What year?
2013.
Yeah, I mean the
Yeah,
sound or that was worse back then.
It was
too.
way worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes
But he's
sense.
so rich. I would have actually that might not be a good. I was saying he just should have someone dictate it.
Well,
Dictate to someone.
they're too young. They don't know how to write yet.
Right. Yeah,
I think
exactly.
that's what's going on though. He makes these, then he sends it to like an assistant. They clean it up probably. Because that's how Trump tweets. I saw.
But he's
something.
outlining crimes.
It doesn't hire people of age, though, you guys.
Right.
You know.
They can't spell it.
This was in fact copyread and edited by a 14-year-old girl. So clearly, you know,
that would explain some of the grammar, I guess.
Anywho.
Anywho.
Though you have consistently maintained that I could not have done a better job. Where was I? The investment participation and gave me a total of 2 years severance, similar to that of Christine Turner, a casualty of a former accident. Some of this is like in code. I'm a little lost by some of this. I can assure you that if the shoe was on the other foot, I would have said, Boris, this is not your fault. Who the fuck is Boris? There's so many names being thrown around here. I confess to Melinda, you didn't. It was a moment of weakness, and I promise that I will do anything within my power to make it right for you. I have more money than anyone needs, and I do my utmost to structure something so that you will not be penalized for my error. Lucky for me, I have enough money to mediate a horrible situation. Though it will not heal the injury, it will make you secure in your future. In addition, I will bend over backwards to make sure your next career is rewarding and on an upswing. I appreciate the fact that this event drastically alters your plans, and I'm very aware that your career path you gave up to join the foundation. I'm very sorry, but as I believe time heals all wounds, the terrible pain felt currently will eventually pass. In that regard, I suggest you buy the house that you had so had your heart set on, and in addition to 5 years of severance, will buy you out of the investment contract we had agreed. 30 to 40% of a $100 million partnership. For $30 million in today's dollars, terms and conditions to be agreed. That's what I would have done had I been in your shoes. What I did receive, however, was an unfriendly, strongly worded email telling me how employable I am and that I should not look for you for any significant financial help in the future. To add insult to injury, you then subsequently, with tears in your eyes, implore me to please delete the emails regarding your STD.
Keep going. It's even better.
Your request that I provide you antibiotics that you could surreptitiously give to Melinda, and the description of your penis.
What?
You also made it clear to me that I am not to refer to redacted. That is another topic that must remain between the two of us. In return for all these requests, which I would have done without a second thought. Is there a second page to this? Surely it cuts off, right?
Basically, he's like, what I would have done if I were you is pay me a bunch of money and do all this. And then I might forget about all this crazy shit.
So I guess the implication of all of this is that
he caught an STD.
Jeffrey's women or girls gave Bill Gates an STD.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he tried to covered up and asked for help. The one,
And he tried he tried to drug his wife in
The
secret
antibiotic.
Oh my God.
So she didn't
without
find
her
out
knowing.
that she got an
infected
STD
her.
from him.
I guess it's possible. I guess my one.
The most surprising thing out of that is that he's still sexually active with his wife.
Can we put his picture up while we talk about him, Bill Gates?
This dork ass fucking weirdo.
Didn't the Gates Foundation do some philanthropy work in regards to STDs also? Like it's something about AIDS and
maybe in
STDs.
Africa,
In
right?
Africa, right? I think.
Was he just trying to find a cure for himself the whole time?
Yo, what a creepy little fucking freakazoid.
Yeah, he's
This guy.
Yo, that's straight villainy, dude. Can you get me some drugs so that I can unknowingly drug my wife, dose my wife with antibiotics? The hell?
How does he pee?
It's probably painful if he's got an STD.
Not the time, Nate.
Golly, no wonder she left his ass. She probably knew about all this stuff.
Yeah, she did, and she even said it.
Yeah, she said it contributed.
She wasn't really holding anything back.
Right.
A little bit.
I don't know how
Details
much.
are pretty stunning.
Yeah.
So
I'm just so sick. I don't know. I thought I had a pretty good radar for like creeps.
he seemed chill,
But yeah.
or at least not a creep.
I would have never guessed that.
Like shrewd, like merciless business person, maybe. I mean, not maybe, but like obviously that. But
Yeah,
a creep,
that's always.
a dude who's trying to fuck little girls.
Yeah, yeah,
and
that
dose
kind
his
of
wife.
creep.
Yeah, that is definitely not where I expected Bill Gates to wind up in the late '90s. Seeing him on TV.
Do you remember that interview where Bill Gates was like, "Well, Epstein is dead." So
Yes.
right.
It's the
What is it?
best.
Pull it up.
Wait, I
Pull
don't.
it up. It's
I don't.
fucking crazy. Someone was like, do you think that Epstein will ever be held accountable or something like that? He's like, well, he's dead. So, no, it's even weirder than that.
No, it's way weirder than that.
Yeah.
Hold on, I think I got it here.
Reported at that time.
Yeah, the level of disgrace that Bill Gates is going to be from this is
Bill Gates
catastrophic.
That you had a number of meetings with Jeffrey Epstein, who, when
It
you
must
met
be this
him
part
10
where
years
it's mostly
ago.
played.
You know, I've said I regretted having those dinners, and there's absolutely nothing new on that.
Is there a lesson for you, for anyone else looking at this?
Well, he's dead, so, you know, in general, you always have to be careful. And,
What's
you know,
so amusing
I'm
about this?
very proud of what we've done in philanthropy, very proud of the
Oh, shut the fuck up with your philanthropy.
What does that mean other
I'm
than
starting to question everything.
I mean, Bill Gates sure is a rich man. He could kill someone if
Well,
he
now
wants to.
the other shit I'm hearing that he's up to, I mean, can't put it past him.
Definitely not, no.
Yeah, people, you know, Trump had Epstein killed. The Clintons had Epstein killed.
So many people could have done it.
Bill Gates?
Who done it?
Another candidate?
Maybe all of them
Another
together.
person with a lot of resources?
Maybe the Bohemian Grove, they all met up.
Yeah, maybe.
I just want to say for the record, I've never owned a Microsoft computer.
I was gonna say Team Apple, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Steve Jobs probably would have been on that list if he was alive.
No, Steve Jobs was just a meanie.
I don't know about Steve Jobs. I am surprised that Tim Cook isn't. To be
You mean
honest.
Tim Apple?
Tim Apple's the man, bro. He's what Bill Gates should have been.
I don't know about that, dude.
Boring, lame, family man, sexually inactive. Like I like all of my rich businessmen.
I think Tim Apple, unfortunately, has been pretty Trump glazy in the last year or so. So it's not the greatest look.
I mean, he's been on Epstein's Island, which is big. As far as we know.
Tim Cook has?
Mm-mm.
Oh.
No.
No.
So, he's cooked, ladies and gentlemen. Play that again.
Okay.
It's a softball question.
Credit having
The
those
lesson is
dinners.
In other words,
bet your investors.
Sure, right.
But he goes, well, the lesson is you
He's
die
dead.
if you cross me.
You crossed me.
The lesson's for
the
him.
number of meetings. What did you do when you found out about his background?
Well,
Try to erase my emails real quick.
you know, I've said I regretted having those dinners, and there's absolutely nothing new on that.
Is there a lesson for you, for anyone else looking at this?
Well, he's dead, so you know, in general, you always have to be careful.
What?
And you know, I'm very proud of what we've done in philanthropy. Very proud of the work of the foundation. You know, that's what I get up every day and focus on.
What the fuck did you mean, bro?
Yeah. Now,
Yeah.
can I throw a little bit of skepticism into this narrative?
Please.
Why does Bill Gates need somebody to get him antibiotics?
So I thought about that. Obviously, he has a doctor he could ask for. A million ways to get it. Why would he have to go to Epstein? Here's what happened. He found out he had an STD, and he phoned up Epstein like, yo, what the fuck? How'd I get this shit? Then Epstein was brought in on it from that. That's the only thing I can imagine. Otherwise, it makes no fucking sense that he would go to Epstein.
Yeah, just because it would be super embarrassing to say that to your doctor.
Well,
as Bill Gates.
he found out he had an STD already from his doctor. So he went home, he immediately called Epstein, was like, yo, your girl has a fucking STD, what the hell?
But then why would he need the antibiotics from Epstein?
Because it was Epstein's idea.
But how would he get something prescribed for his wife without her
No, it's not
going to the doctor? Because you guys are saying, why would he go to Epstein?
No, the doctor would have given. He's Bill Gates. He could have got antibiotics for him and dosed his wife. It's easy. Easy.
Maybe he was worried about someone leaking it. Like if he
Here's
was
what happened. He called Epstein, and Epstein being the fixer, he's like, "Hey, chill. Here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna get you antibiotics. You're gonna give it to your wife in her coffee at night, and everything's gonna be fine. She's not gonna find out." Boom, the plan was hatched and Bill was implicated.
But also none of this is confirmed otherwise, right? Outside of this like email he's sent to himself.
And it's just a draft email that he sent to himself. And there's this other.
It would be really nice if there was an actual investigation. You know, if somebody like investigated this stuff.
Well, he's dead, so.
Yeah.
You know what happened to the last guy that tried to investigate it?
Well, he's dead, so.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Stop asking questions.
Exactly. But these people are starting to sweat because it's getting way too big.
I don't think they should sweat because nobody's ever going to do anything.
This is bad for Bill Gates. I will never look at this guy the same again.
Because I'm like, I don't understand, like, I know this is a talking point of the conservatives, but literally, why didn't anybody do anything about this under Biden?
I don't know. Biden wasn't in the shit. Kamala wasn't in the shit.
Right, so why didn't they do something and run with it, you know? Bury all these people.
Obama wasn't in the shit.
Clinton, however.
Clinton, I did not mention Clinton.
Clinton had a freak.
But anyway,
Clinton be fucking kids.
Nothing happened before, and then
Probably.
now you have Trump, and he's not doing anything about it.
Well, Trump's in that.
Is in it.
I think Biden is just maybe.
So nothing is ever going to
It's
happen.
politics, you know, everyone.
Well, every time
Dirty business.
they want to glaze these billionaires, both sides.
Yeah.
Like big time.
Who knows why
Having
Biden
those
did
big
it.
donor juicers, that's great for politics, man.
Yeah, so they got no reason to sweat.
Well, he's dead, so.
Right.
I will never. He had plausible deniability where it's like, hey, we had 2 meetings. I regretted it. That's it. And he has some plausible deniability. You're like, okay, all right, I guess. For all we know, that's what happened. No. I will never look at this creepy little nerd again.
My new favorite celebrity.
Are you mad I called him a nerd?
No, I think she was reacting to Love saying that that's his new favorite.
Oh, Bill Gates? After all that?
He's a PC gamer, bro.
You know what I realized why Bill Gates is spending so much money on philanthropy? It's how he rationalized raping children.
Oh, I thought it was going to be a tax.
I'm thinking even darker than that.
As well,
Unfortunately, like, what is he doing in those countries, you know?
Raping children.
Yeah.
I hope
that's where my brain goes.
That's an alleged. That's me speculating. Big time alleged.
Well, there was that South Park episode, the Super Adventure Club, where that's what they did. Is like they went on these rich guys went on these countries and they did just that.
Yeah, Bill Gates was probably on those safaris, based on what I'm saying. But he goes, He's like, yes, I did eradicate. What? There was some disease he eradicated in Africa or South America, malaria.
I don't think he eradicated, but he did help with malaria big time in Africa. Yes.
I think there's actually some disease he like eradicated. So he's like, on one hand, I did just rape a child. Okay, that's bad, and I should feel bad. But on the other hand,
his organization was his foundation was a leading force in the global effort to eradicate polio.
That's a good thing.
Absolutely. Unfortunately, polio is not fully eradicated, but it is massively reduced.
So thanks to Bill Gates' efforts, he saved a lot of people from
You gotta
disfigurement and
sacrifice
death.
a few children.
So like on whole, you know, he's like, I'm good. I'm going to heaven.
Here's the thing, though, like
On the whole?
the final evidence that he's not doing
On
enough
and
is
around the
that
hole, sorry.
his net worth has 100x the past 20 years.
Yeah.
So he could have saved a lot of more diseases, but he's just doing. I mean, he's doing good things, but he could have saved everyone almost.
Well,
like,
the
with
best
that kind
thing,
of money.
the best charity he did is giving half his money to his ex-wife.
Yeah.
Who's actually now giving it all away.
It's true. She is doing great work.
Yeah.
But genuinely, you're not doing enough. You're not doing anything actually. If you're not
Nobody
giving away a significant amount of your billions and billions of money that you have stockpiled up somewhere.
So anyway, that's what's going on with Bill Gates, but that's just the beginning.
It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. He's in jail.
Up until now, Elon's been Mr. I never went to the island, and I'm totally against Epstein, and anyone who's been on that island is disgusting. He's been on Joe Rogan. He's doing a whole media tour about he's the best, and he's never done anything creepy and weird like that, right? For example, so when is this tweet from?
From yesterday.
Like last
Okay,
year?
so this is a response to the emails which
he's
we'll read.
like, it's interesting. I have to say, not that it's good, but
Wait, I thought
it's
this one
somewhat
was from last year. This is from now? You said that now?
this tweet.
Yeah.
This is from
I think this one is
September
from...
2025.
Yeah, this one is from last year.
End
Because
of
he's
September.
been tweeting a lot about this.
He
in the
he's
last
had
48
similar.
hours.
Yeah.
My bad.
So this is before the recent leak. He said,
Yeah.
Shame on Sky News. For this utterly misleading headline, anyone pushing this false narrative deserves complete contempt. Epstein tried to get me to his island, and I refused. Yet they named me even before Prince Andrew, who did visit. Okay, so let's take a look. And he's on video saying lots of similar things.
And I will say, and he. The reason I was confused is because he did have a tweet from this weekend that was basically saying the same thing. He keeps saying. He's basically trying to frame it. Epstein really wanted me to come to Island, and I kept dodging him because I thought he was a weirdo, and I kept just kind of like cold shouldering him. And he's still saying that now, even though, in my opinion, the emails show
the other way.
The opposite of that. But he's posting through it.
Right. And he was
posting
the one
through the pain.
He said Trump was in it, and that was a huge deal as well.
Yeah.
He was the one to say that initially, right? Like.
Yeah, when he got pissed off
Yeah.
after Trump fired him, he said Trump's in the episode.
Here's the big drop, guys. Now I'll tell you, and of the new drops, Trump was mentioned over 1,000 times.
I think it's at 1,500 now.
1,500 times, yeah.
Okay.
Elon Musk wrote Jeffrey Epstein. Do you have it? And by the way, worth mentioning, this is after he was already convicted of like trafficking minors, right?
2012.
Or soliciting sex with
I
minors.
believe it was solicitation,
Which,
what
let's
he
be
was
real,
actually charged with,
that's
which
trafficking.
everybody finds really suspect that it was reduced to that because he clearly was trafficking.
Yeah. So Elon Musk, knowing all that, says, do you have any parties planned? I've been working on the edge of sanity this year, and so once my kids head home after Christmas, I really want to hit the party scene in St. Bart's or elsewhere and let loose. The invitation is much appreciated, but a peaceful island experience is the opposite of what I'm looking for. You think that's bad? Jeffrey responded, you are welcome to stay or just come for the day. Plenty of room, and I will send a helicopter to get you. Elon Musk said about his wife at the time, "Understood, I will see you on St. Bart's." He said to Elon, "The ratio on my island might make your wife Talila uncomfortable."
Oh my God.
Now you might think gender ratio. I think he means
No.
age ratio.
Yeah.
So that's just one. The worst one is actually
My new favorite celebrity.
Wow.
just a reminder. Elon Musk was asking about coming to your island on January 2nd. Epstein says, "Actually, I could fly back early on the 3rd. We will be in St. Bart's. When should we head to your island on the 2nd? I need to fly back to LA on the night of the 2nd. So on the 2nd or 3rd would be perfect. I will come and get you." Okay, probably the 1st then. Again, deep planning with Epstein, post-trafficking, right? More emails. Check this
so
one
this
out.
is continuing that last one.
We'll be in St. Bart's area over the holidays. Is there a good time to visit? Any day from the 1st to the 8th. Play it by ear if you want. Always space for you. Okay, probably the 1st. This is a continuation. 2 or 3 would be perfect. I'll come and get you. I need to fly to LA. This is the one I just read. Moving on. I'll be in for the next week. We'll see your brother and his new romance. Tallulah and I are headed to St. Bart's at the end of the year. I assume you'll most likely be on your island. I'll be in New York around mid-November for some media events, but not before. The world needs more romance. An easy but correct assumption. We will catch up in New York, or I will send a helicopter to St. Bart's for you, 45 minutes away. What's a good time to come between December 23 and 30th? Looking forward to it. Probably after Christmas Day. Any day. Let's choose a sunny one. Glad you're coming on Friday. You know what happens on Fridays. Looking forward to it. Does this sound like a guy who's been like, I didn't want anything to do with this grave? This sounds like a guy who desperately wants to kick it with his cool friend. So Elon Musk is insisting that it was actually
The other way. He was actually trying to dodge Epstein. But I feel like we've all been in the position of trying to dodge something. It does not look like that.
No.
It'd be like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm actually here with my kids. I'm not going to be able to make it.
This guy desperately wants to kick
oh,
Epstein.
it's the 1st to the 8th. Damn, just on the 9th I could come,
Yeah.
you know? That's dodging.
This sounds like a dude who's busy but desperately wants to visit his buddy
Yeah.
Epstein on his quote-unquote island. So Jeffrey asks who's coming, and Elon Musk says, probably just Tallulah and me. What day or night will be the wildest party on your island? Now, who asks a known sex trafficker of minors who has a reputation, is a New York socialite, everybody knows has a reputation. According to Trump, he's already dumped him at this moment. He's like, hey, I disassociated with this guy years ago. Or I don't know how long previously it was, but imagine writing that dude an email that says, what day or night will be the wildest party on your island? That's what Elon Musk wrote Epstein, and now he's trying to pretend like, and Benny Johnson, who I had the pleasure of speaking with earlier today, made a video yesterday, and this is the talking point where they're just saying like, no, Elon rejected Epstein.
Where?
Well, actually,
don't believe your eyes.
And then this one here, it's in my it's in my Piers doc. I need this one.
And then I don't know if you saw that his daughter confirmed the dates that they were in St. Bart's. So like, as far as she can confirm,
Yeah.
it does add up.
You can have that one. I no longer need him.
So here's what really happened. Here is Epstein to Elon regarding the same visit. Christmas and New Year's 2013. Bad news. Unfortunately, my schedule will keep me in New York. I was really looking forward to finally spending some time together with just fun as the agenda. So I'm very disappointed. Hopefully we can schedule another time in the near future. That's Jeffrey Epstein.
What dodging sounds like.
Yes.
That's when you're like, oh damn, I really wanted to do that, but
He's like, this guy's cringe as fuck. He's gonna scare the hoes.
maybe next time.
So to speak,
Scare
quote
the
unquote,
kids.
scare the hoes, as
He's
they
about
say.
to scare the kids.
Right.
Oh my God, man. Elon, man. What are you doing,
And
bro?
furthermore, he has a trans daughter who hates him.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's like his biggest op. And she can corroborate the details in this, right? I'm just going to speak directly instead of being vague and cryptic. I can confirm that we were in St. Bart's at the time specified in the email. And therefore, I believe they are authentic. This has basically already been confirmed through his attempt to paint them as out of context.
Yeah.
The Nile is a river in Egypt. Ooh, she hit him with that dad shit. My dad used to always say, the Nile ain't just a river in Egypt. Oof, you gotta hit Elon Musk with the dad jokes? That hurts.
He probably said that to her.
That's just a little inside joke. Inside dagger. I knew nothing about the emails previously, so I'm learning about everything at the time as y'all. If there's any information I learned that I can corroborate, I will do so. Literally, what the fuck is my life? Lol.
She is so great, by the way.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
The thing is, like, it's really useful having her corroborate this.
Yes.
But these emails, there's no reason for these emails to not be legit. I mean, these are legitimate emails written between Elon and Epstein.
Yeah.
We know that. It's from his email.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I think BVI.
Frankly, I mean, Elon isn't. He's again trying to just pull a fast one by just posting through the pain and just saying,
It wasn't me.
These emails exonerate me.
You caught me on the island. It wasn't me.
Yes, he's doing a Shaggy. No,
you caught me in the helicopter. It wasn't me.
Yeah, it's very good.
Thank you.
Very good.
Thank you. Should I keep going?
Yeah. I mean, I got the joke. Yeah. Shaggy.
Caught me getting a massage. It wasn't me.
Yeah. Right.
Offered a stewardess to give me a hand job for a horse. Wasn't me. He was accused of that.
He was indeed.
But like he said then, and I'll echo it, it wasn't him.
Uh-huh.
So she continues. I think the British Virgin Islands, ironically called Virgin Islands, but there's a lot of sex happening on those islands. Right, Dan?
Yikes.
I think the come on, that's gold. That's gold. God damn it, that's a golden.
Tamara liked it.
Jeffrey Epstein is dead, that's true. I think the British Virgin Islands likely refers to Necker Island, but I cannot confirm that. It's a little bit difficult to ask someone, hey, what year did we go to Necker Island? It might be in regards to Epstein files, lol, XOXO. We didn't go there as often as St. Bart's. So there you go.
Mm-hmm.
What is Epstein, or what is Elon, what's his cope look like? I'm curious to see.
Sure, give me a sec.
Because he's like dead to rights. He is like cooked.
Well, you'd think that.
Right.
But
a lot of these people have been cooked for a very long time and nothing has happened, which is very concerning.
Yeah.
I don't have too much hope that anything's going to change at all.
I did think that
Little
Elon
boomer
had
brain.
some plausible deniability, and also he was the guy that was like, surprise, surprise, Trump's in the Epstein files. It's like, so are you.
Right.
It should be noted, too, that, I mean, obviously this is not him, so you can't, blame him for this necessarily. But his brother, Kimball Musk, did have some pretty direct associations with Elon Musk, including a girlfriend of his that was introduced to him by Elon.
With Epstein, you mean?
Or by Epstein, I'm sorry. Right.
Is his brother also? Oh, his brother is a businessman too, right?
I don't know. I
So
think he's
his
just like a
brother's-
weirdo brother. He's the one that always wearing a cowboy hat everywhere he goes.
Yeah.
This guy.
So you're saying that he was introduced to his girlfriend through Epstein?
Years ago, and not current girlfriend. They dated for like a year or something, but he met a girl through Epstein.
How old was she?
She was of age. It
Okay.
wasn't like that.
Take that
I think
hat
she was
off.
very young, though.
Okay.
I mean,
Here, I'll look up the details.
The Tonight Show? Why was he on The Tonight Show? Kimball Musk, The Tonight Show. What the hell is that?
I mean,
click it.
People used to love the Musks, right?
Yeah. But just his brother for no reason? What are you doing?
2024. That was only 2 years ago. Huh.
Click it.
We'll get claimed.
Let me just read the description or hear the first second.
Kimball and Jimbo.
Kimball and Jim. Well, no, this isn't Jimbo Kimball.
Damn.
Yeah, that would have been even better if he was in Kimball.
Kimball Musk, known associate of Epstein. Thanks for being here.
Kimball Musk talks about his restaurant, The Kitchen, and how he got his signature cowboy hat. Oh, sounds really interesting.
That is the dumbest, lamest reason. You know what that means? That means Epstein has shit on Fallon.
Who knows?
Because why the fuck would you do something this dumb and ridiculous? Nobody cares about Kimball Musk's restaurant, right? Sorry.
You know, I used to like cowboy hats, but until I realized only weirdos wear them.
Hold on. Let me prevent you from catching hits on that. It is very common in the South, which we are not accustomed to.
Yes.
It's the look. Everybody.
No, I'm not talking about people that are authentically wearing it from
people
the
who
South.
authentically wear cowboy hats. I say yeehaw.
I'm jealous of them.
I say yeehaw, brother.
I think it's really cool.
Right. But your statement is about
If
city
somebody like
slickers.
Kimball,
Yeah.
like if I were to wear a cowboy hat, I realize it's kind of a red flag.
That kind of looks off.
I am in big trouble.
I'm having a green drink.
It looks like you're drinking static.
You're drinking TV, bro.
Yeah.
Funny is that, eh? Green drink.
Elon Musk's family is notoriously very weird. I don't know the exact details, but his dad is like a major creep.
Weird. Yeah.
So it runs.
Weird is an understatement.
Oh yes, I'm being
Yeah.
vague because I don't know the exact details, but
Yeah, his
there's
dad
some-
has a whole story like Woody Allen type.
Yeah,
story.
exactly. Yes, that has something to do with a stepdaughter. I don't know the details, so I don't want to speak on it.
Yeah.
But Google
Now,
it.
obviously, sins of the dad is not the sins of the son, but
No.
also
But in this case,
he's in Epstein's. He's messaging
The whole
Epstein,
the whole
so that's kind of
family
the
seems
shebang.
very
there's
suspect.
something
On the
obsessive
whole,
there. Yeah.
on the whole, sus vibes.
On, in, and around the hole, guys.
On the whole,
Google.
So here is what Elon Musk is coping with. Nobody has fought harder for full release of the Epstein files and persecution of those who abused children more than I did. Really?
What?
Nobody?
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 That's troubling.
What has he
Sure.
done? I mean, he has talked about it. He did, after getting fired by Trump's tweet out that Trump was in the Epstein files when they hated each other for a couple months.
Not
they seem
alive,
to
by
have
the
patched
way.
it up, though, by the way. He's back on the Trump train.
Yeah, because he kissed the ring immediately.
Oh, yeah.
When he was like, oh my God, Trump can like cancel all my funding and I'm screwed.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, there's been quite a few voices out there that have been after the Epstein files very vehemently for a long time, and I don't think Elon is.
The times
one.
I've seen him talk about it on Joe Rogan and stuff is because Joe asked him about it.
Sure, yeah.
But nobody's fought harder. Knowing full well that the legacy media, far left propagandists, and those who are actually guilty would 1. Admit nothing. 2. Deny everything. And 3. Make counter accusations against me, buddy. Buddy. You asked a convicted sex trafficker of minors when's the wildest party on his island.
And he said your wife might be a little uncomfortable.
Leave the wife at home. Bro, you're busted, dude. You are and by the way, leave it to our fucking, I don't know how much is legit, but I'm assuming it's mostly legit. 330,000 likes.
Very cool.
51 million views.
Well, it is on the platform that he owns.
Yeah.
On the whole.
So biased.
It's true. I knew I was going to be smeared relentlessly, despite never having attended his parties or... You begged to go to them, though.
Right. That's the thing. It's like, he's kind of talking out of both sides of his mouth there.
Please.
It's like not for lack of effort.
He's technically right.
You know? Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
but
that may technically be correct.
But only because
but-
Epstein thought he was a weirdo and didn't want to bring
Yeah.
it. He probably thought he was a narc or something.
Yeah, the way he's texting
I
him,
was
it's like,
thinking
you're way
that,
too
like,
obvious.
if I was in Epstein's shoes and this guy's messaging me like that, I'd be like, this guy's wearing a wire or something.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say no.
He's like, nobody's ever asked me this explicitly to come to my child sex parties before. This is weird.
Yeah. Because he must have dealt with a lot of like FBI, like hidden wire shit, I'm sure, right, during his time.
Well,
People
to an
were-
extent, because everybody knew and they were letting him be.
Right.
Like they knew, they didn't need more information. I
So
feel
he
like.
was probably pretty well versed in like.
He's probably connected to all the intelligence agencies
That
in a
too.
in a symbiotic way.
Yeah, well, that's isn't that a big theory that he's
Yeah.
Something like a secret
CIA
operative?
or Mossad.
If he was a high-level asset for the CIA or the FBI, that would explain why they put off charging him for so long.
Well, he's dead, so.
Bill Gates, you keep bringing that up.
So,
are you trying to tell us something?
You know.
Well,
So-
he's dead.
So technically he's right, as far as we know, that he's never been to the party, nor has he flown on Lolita Express, or set foot on his creepy island, or done anything wrong. Again, his creepy island that you begged to visit on the wildest night. Nonetheless, the extreme pain of being accused of being the opposite of who I am was worth it. Oh, please, he's a martyr. The strong must protect those that cannot protect themselves, especially vulnerable children. I will gladly accept any amount of future pain to do more to protect kids, and I will give them a chance to grow up and have a happy lives.
Okay, bro.
How about you raise your own children?
How about your own child that you disowned for being trans, I think, or I think it was because of that, right? Who
Yeah.
despises you.
Yeah.
Give it up for Elon Musk, who's a true protector of children everywhere. He has sacrificed himself for the good of all children everywhere.
Good man.
Yes! Including the one his dad married. Which I think his dad did have a baby with someone sussy aged.
Google it.
Yeah, someone should
Google it. Here is something else that was in the files that's related to what we were talking about with Kimball. Here's an email from one of Epstein's close associates to Kimball saying, "Thank you, Kimball. Just FYI, you better be nice to Redacted. Jeffrey goes crazy when someone mistreats his girls/friends. So you better be very nice to her.
girls?
Oh my God.
And Jeffrey and I better have special treatment at your ceremony, smiley face. Great to hang out with you. See you soon. Please keep me posted."
Well,
Oh
that's
my
pretty
God.
fucking brazen.
Kimball replied, "Jeffrey, message received wide and clear." Smiley face.
Wow.
Elon Musk's father, Errol Musk, has 2 children with Jana. This name is nuts. Bezundahut, his former stepdaughter, who he raised from the age of 4.
Yeah.
42-year age difference. Is that right, AB?
Yeah, you could say that again, eh?
Whoa.
Damn.
It's a strange business.
Idiots. Yo, it's actually insane. It's bad. It's bad. I'm enjoying these Epstein things a little too much. Like, come on, what can you do, man? I've been playing this stupid game since it came out for I don't know, 50 hours. Gotta watch something, man. I gotta watch something. So we're deep into all these Epstein. Oh, this is a mess, bro. This is a fucking mess, bro.
Ghislaine Maxwell and Prince Andrew. Email shows a close, affectionate relationship. I mean, we all know Prince
I feel
Andrew's
like
is fucked.
Ghislaine is the only one who's rotting in prison right now, no? She's the only one getting punished for this. The rest is just chilling. Right. It's crazy.
Yeah. Did you see the
That's
photo? Of
absolutely
him
insane.
On top of that girl.
It's one.
Very
It's bad enough. We probably shouldn't show it. To be honest.
Pierce showed it.
Okay.
The diaper one that Pierce showed me shocked me, though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What's the diaper one?
Wild.
Look at your silly hat, dude. That
These
should have
guys
been
are
our first
going
warning
hard, bro.
sign. There's a romantic email between Andrew and Ghislaine, apparently.
Really?
It was between Andrew, 65, who went by the moniker the Invisible Man. Please don't fucking, please. Please. Hate it.
What?
And Maxwell in 2002 tell how he sought Maxwell's permission to spend time with his ex-wife and children instead of traveling to the U.S. Andrew was previously denied having a close friendship with Maxwell. 64.
And you can stay connected with AT&T?
Bro, AT&T, this is not the time or place.
So many ads on the screen. Holy fuck.
But why you want ads on this article?
Just being bombarded.
It's everywhere.
And an email signed by Andrew A. As the planning is getting more difficult over the bank holiday weekend, here I am thinking now I might join Sarah and the kids in Södergrund for a few days, which would be very important and a good thing for the girls rather than trek across the pond. Shut up, goofy hat freak. This is a new image.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the one that I was disturbed by.
Holy shit.
What are you doing, brother? What the fuck are you doing, dude? And then, I don't know what's going on here, but someone has their feet up.
Yeah.
And there's towels.
Oh.
And a Gatorade.
By the way, I do have to say, I mean, I guess it's probably not really enough still, because all they did was, like, strip him of all of his shit. But, like, the UK, unlike here in our country, has actually implemented consequences to some of these people.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy is completely fucking disgraced from polite society now.
Yeah.
I mean, should probably be in jail, too.
He's one of the most overt, weirdest, wildest.
He doesn't give a fuck.
And just, like, look at this shit. What are you doing, brother?
And he's just Andrew now.
They are still paying
He doesn't have the title yet.
Whoa! That's a fuck.
Really?
Oh, what?
1,000%.
Okay, sadly, I already have the gloves, but that's
has another smaller
that's crazy. Literal.
He's just a regular Andrew.
GG.
Or
That's
big
big.
house. Romantic emails between Andrew and Ghislaine Maxwell, in which they told
That's
one another they
fucking
loved
big. I'm
each
so
other.
happy, man.
Is adding
Holy shit, that's good. Where's that fucking trinket? Where is it? Where is it? Oh, shit. Woo. That's big. Big, big. Big trinket. Big trinket. Big train. Big train. That's so big, man. That's so fucking huge. Holy shit. That's a huge trinket, man. That's the biggest trinket ever. It's nuts.
Speculation that the pair were romantically involved. I see they have a lot in common.
Yeah.
Where's the diaper one, bro? That's most important.
I'm looking for the diaper one.
Maybe that was a
Pierce hit us with
exclusive.
the craziest photo, and we were all shocked. I don't think anybody on that panel had ever seen that before. And it was some man standing in a diaper.
What? Guy who just sent this picture and said his new small cottage. Tell me that this is not.
He lives there?
Oh,
What?
Jesus.
Stop.
All right, take
That's
it
a
back.
joke.
Yeah, so
That's a
they
joke.
moved him, and apparently it's in disarray inside because it hasn't been lived in for so long. So
He
they're
lives there?
paying for a renovating too, which I
The fuck?
yeah. My new favorite celebrity. I told you
Andrew?
guys. New mansion dropped. Beautiful house.
So they are still like hooking him up with housing.
They moved him from the
You
main
might
one,
say
though.
that.
Yeah.
Well, they hooked him up, yeah, with some house.
I
But
take it. I take it back.
Apparently he's pissed off though that this is his new house.
Well, yeah.
Really?
He's demanding
Have you
renovations.
seen how shabby this looks?
Is
No,
this even a house? I feel like I'm looking at a city.
It's more like a manor. I think
Chateau?
it's what
It's
you
like a
call
whole
it.
street.
But
Yeah.
dude,
How many entrances are there?
100.
that's crazy.
Yeah. But he's pissed off.
Well, he is Prince. He deserves better, you know.
Yeah.
He's not a prince anymore. So no.
He was. Here's the love of his life, by the way. Looking
Yeah.
fantastic, lovely.
Damn.
She's doing great. She's doing great. Having a really good stay in prison. And from what I understand, she's reading. She's working on going back to school. And she's just having a really spiritually fulfilling time in prison. And her minimum security. Making lots of friends, it turns out, right? I mean,
She's at camp.
the social butterflyness of Epstein rubbed off on her, so she is really, she is friends with everybody in that place.
She had a puppy for a while in prison, but after it went viral, they took it away. So they actually took it back.
Who gets a puppy in prison?
Good question.
I've never heard that in my life.
blackmailers?
Maxwell referred to Andrew as her sweet pea.
They're not holding back.
Andrew was seen behind the wheel of a Range Rover in Winston on Saturday morning, hours after the release of the files. This is a happy camper right there. Yo, this is so much like the...
Like father, like son.
Yeah, this is his dad who's dead, who's like the
Oh my
crypt
God,
keeper.
you're right.
Hold that up. Overlay them.
Yeah, hold on.
What does bro do like day to day though? Like you're so disgraced.
Fuck children.
Like
That's
now,
the only thing I know for sure.
You just
Going
live in.
to get massages daily.
This is the infamous shot of his dad.
Oh,
go back and forth.
And yeah, that was post passing away.
Yeah.
He was passed away there.
I can't see.
You can't see. I can do it on my end.
I can't see. Here, let me
No,
see.
zoom back in. Zoom back in. Like zoom way into his face.
This is the most it's letting me zoom.
Oh, okay.
Let me try this.
No. Just keep it still. Keep it still. No.
You said zoom more. I did.
Keep it centered. Keep it there. We're super close. Hold on.
Andrew. Can you hear that?
Get ready!
Prince
This
Andrew?
shouldn't take long!
The devil is here for his dues. Sweet Pea is calling, Andrew. Sweet Pea. Are you there, Sweet Pea?
He's so not a sweet pea. Like, I'm sorry.
Andrew.
Are we looking at the same thing?
This is Father Andrew. I've been watching. They're torturing me for what you've done, Andrew. I'm burning alive, Andrew. Why have you done this? Andrew. Talk, Andrew. This is Epstein, Andrew. You hanged me. You think I forgot? I introduced you to Sweet Pea.
Well, he's dead, so.
Silence, Bill. You're ruining my vibe. We're all waiting for you, Andrew. All right.
I think that was a Pierce Morgan exclusive. We got a whole
Yeah,
team looking for this.
Wait,
Where
so-
did the diaper fall?
And
Hold on.
you know what's also
Did Pierce accidentally show us a photo
Like
from
a-
his phone?
Only he has.
or did he accidentally show us something that was fake? I don't know. But
I don't know. I didn't even find the fake.
He's a newsman.
My only question: are we misremembering that it was Prince Andrew? Was it somebody else?
No, we don't know who it was.
No, I don't. I
It
don't
was
think
just
it was
a man.
Prince Andrew. It was
I
someone
didn't
else.
see it. I couldn't see the switch.
It was just a
He
guy.
showed it right after the Prince Andrew, with the Prince Andrew photo, but I think it was somebody else.
But what if it was Pierce?
That might be why, because I was looking for Prince.
That would have been a surprising confession. Don't. We were friends with Pierce now.
Yeah, best friends.
Pierce would never. I'm gonna be a regular now. Watch.
We'll see about that.
There are more royals.
I do wonder if that was what because it is.
You don't bring on Ethan Klein to not do
Blood
Ethan
sports.
Klein thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Come on.
So yeah.
They've been on my nuts.
I
Yeah,
think
they
once he
really
reads
were
the
asking
comments,
more.
he'll be nicer. Like he'll be more eager to have you on.
I mean, at the end of the day, if it gets views, he'll invite you
Right.
back. That's probably all that really matters.
I want him to set up the Bilzerian debate.
Balzerian?
Balls.
Here it is.
Oh, you found the diaper. You found the diaper.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, find it.
So it's somebody else.
You know, sometimes you just gotta type like a 5-year-old. Like,
You guys are looking
not looking
dumb enough.
yeah.
Oh, Peter Mandelson.
That was it.
Who is
Oh, this was Peter Mandelson.
Oh, this is the other British lord.
Damn, we weren't even going to talk about him, but this
Yeah.
picture swept him in. Oh my
Look at this photo, you guys. Look at this photograph. Who would even Who would
Is
take
it
this
possible
photo
they're
unless
tidy
it was
whities?
blackmail?
Are they tidy whities,
Right?
maybe?
Why are they even taking this photo?
No,
it's for sure a diaper, isn't it?
It's way too big to be like. Why is there
Yeah,
so much
you're right.
mass?
It's like it's kind of bulky. I mean, he could.
He's
have
packing.
Maybe he likes baby play.
Is it a pull-up?
Is it a jock strap?
Why the fuck would he be wearing a jock strap?
I don't know, man.
It could
Why
be
is
though.
any of this
It's shaped
happening?
like that.
I don't know.
It looks like a diaper full of pee-pee.
Oh.
You might be right. I don't know. They're into some weird shit. man.
Peter Mandelson pictured in a full
Who is
diaper.
Peter? Does he have family? Does he have children?
Mommy?
Mommy?
Sorry.
Member of the House of Lords.
Oh, yeah.
He's a parliament member, right? Is that what
Well,
that means?
yeah.
I'm not
Aren't
sure.
they?
House of Lords is the upper chamber, and it's the one that's full of a lot of. It's basically like the legacy from the Middle Ages that they still have over there.
And
in
they
the
yell at
UK.
each other, right?
The Lord
Those are
of
the people?
Diaper.
No, the House of Commons is like the House of Commons is like the real part, like power in Britain, and that's the elected one. But then there's the House of Lords, which is like a lot of like fucking barons and shit.
Oh
that-
my god.
And I think some of those are elected, but a lot of them aren't. They're hereditary. Like their kids
Classic
will inherit
England, eh?
their seat, kind of thing. Yeah. I don't know if
Maxwell
that's the
once
case for
sent
him, but
her condolences to Andrew on the death of his mother, his queen mother, suggesting, she said to him, "I am in your hands," literally. Maxwell's FBI mugshot from 2020 arrest has been released. We saw that. She looks great. Norwegian Crown Prince Mette Marit.
Yeah. This one's bad.
Thank God it wasn't. Didn't. It's Norway. That's not your problem.
Yeah. And yeah. No, I'm not surprised.
distance yourselves from. Yeah, that's my next door neighbor. That's no way.
He must suggest she was aware of Epstein's crimes despite later saying she did not know. Let's see what this says. Oh, why are we typing like this, guys? Grow up, please. My God, you must be drunk spelling mistake. The girls are 24 and 25. I like Oslo too. Call me tomorrow. Huh? Two Norwegians here, 24 and 25. I like Oslo. Epstein wrote her. I'm still trying to get over the shock that you are in fact wife hunting.
Murdered.
That is sussy.
She's also been to his house. A couple times.
I mean, this is clearly her saying, "Wow, those are old for you." Right?
Maybe.
What is the weather like? I am on my wife hunt. Paris is proving interesting, but I prefer Scandinavians. Dude, why are you such a degenerate? Just can you do something else other than try to fuck all day, all night? Just fuck, massage. Is there anything more to life?
He's crazy.
You know, call me conspiratorial, but I think this guy right here might have a sex problem.
Yeah.
I think he needs therapy.
He needs therapy.
He does.
She sent even more emails that are super sussy about her son, something about her son, and she also been to the house, which is very sus. In England.
I don't have it. I'd love to see it.
In Florida.
I
just saw a TikTok on it.
She previously apologized to Epstein's victims. Yeah, I don't think they're looking for that.
Wake up! We're under attack! Sleep on your own time!
Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. Have an amazing show for everybody today. What do we have, Crystal?
Indeed.
On to Piers Morgan.
Do you think Jesus would be understanding?
Christians are treated differently in this country. I think you'd be having a very different conversation if Nick.
I love that. That's one of my favorite talking points. Think of the Christians. Think of the white Christians.
Fuentes stormed into a synagogue.
My advice to you is stop being a Donald Trump cock.
This is the overcriminalization of fundamental freedoms in America.
You were
Protect
sentenced to
freedoms.
14 years for attempting to sell a Senate seat.
Read the case.
That's so good.
This guy's a goofball. What a fucking loser. How many opportunities in life do you get to dress down a former governor?
Oh my God.
Like,
And
I shit on his fucking face.
And I'll tell you, there's surprises throughout because the end is my favorite, where you say something absolutely insane to him, and he just does this.
He just
nods
He
and
took
smiles.
it.
He agrees.
Yeah, he took it.
Yeah.
Were you in prison? Were you found guilty of corruption? I want to say.
Ooh, look at that.
Fuck ICE.
It's not the Grammys where you all queue up to say fuck ICE.
And I see the egg got some airtime. I don't know if you guys caught that.
Did Dan
My stress
Read
egg.
the case.
Were you in prison? Were you found guilty of corruption?
Uh-oh.
I want to say fuck
egg.
Yo.
Look to the egg.
ICE.
It's not the Grammys where you all queue up to say fuck ICE.
What did Dan Bongino do about it? What did Cash Patel do about it? Well, they say that Jeffrey Epstein killed himself. There's nothing to see here.
That evil son of a bitch should be in prison right now.
Powerful people, they can get away with any.
Glenn Beck, I did not talk to about it. I did not know this fucking puffy demon. Puffy demon?
I don't know too much about him.
He's just a firebrand conservative psychopath.
Gotcha.
Yeah, found out Saturday that I'm actually in the files.
He's in the files.
Wow, what an announcement.
You know who else is in the files? Dan Bilzerian.
Oh, yeah. All his Instagram.
Although, to be fair, it might not be that big of a deal.
Surprising. He wasn't that anti-Semitic when he was going to the island, I guess. Epstein, he's cool with Epstein, though.
No, he made exceptions. You know, he makes exceptions. Hitler made exceptions. Like, he loved his family doctor who was Jewish.
Right.
And, you know.
Two wrongs don't make a right. It's something we learn at the age of 5.
So this experience was really interesting. So we were all on the screen. And then they're like, okay, we'll get started in a minute. And then it just immediately goes into Pierce monologuing.
Wow.
They weren't like, all right, 10. They weren't like 3, 2. It was just Pierce monologuing.
Yeah.
I was like, I guess we started.
They jumped into it really quick.
Beg for your pitiful life.
So here he is. He monologues a bit, but actually with the right take on things. So good for that, Piers.
But many recent controversies engulfing the Trump administration have been caused in part by repeating mistakes which helped them to get elected. There's no the used George Orwell line from 1984, which is again turning up everywhere. The party told you to reject the evidence of your eyes and ears, it says.
True.
It was their final, most essential command. I used to hear MAGA pundits saying it about Joe Biden's team, as they called him a super fit Mensa genius with 100 years to live. Now it's all over liberal media because of the Epstein files and because of a disastrous effort to smear Alex Pretty and Renee Good.
True,
It was wrong
Morgan.
for Biden to claim his opponents were all dangerous domestic terrorists. It's now wrong to make the same claim about everyone protesting against ICE. And the same goes for the many people using gleeful whataboutery to defend the prosecution of Don Lemon. What about the conservative journalists who were arrested for filming on January the 6th? What about the protesters who were convicted for praying at an abortion clinic? What about the lawfare against President Trump? Yes, that was wrong.
Yeah.
That doesn't make it right to do it all again. Not least because it will, as it did before, inevitably
Give me the fucking helmet, man. Come on.
America's getting trapped in a vicious circle started by Biden, in which presidents take 4-year
Give me the
terms
fucking helmet,
in
bro.
executing revenge
Just give me a fucking
and pardoning their mates because the other guy.
This dude
did it
definitely
first.
eats beans
This
on
won't
toast.
end well. There's a simple way to break
Probably
the
had
cycle,
it this morning.
and we also learned that when we're 5 years old. It's remembering the difference
He
between
yaps.
right
He
and
yaps
wrong.
a lot. He does. He yaps a lot.
Can I?
You're one to talk.
I'm not trying to be mean, but
That's my job.
It's his job.
I've never seen
Okay,
this
fine. I
before.
don't want to watch it though, but I just want me. What, AB?
Why is his right, just his right ear leaning?
That's what happens when you're old, bro.
Just 1
how
year?
branches just go different ways.
Okay.
With gravity.
Real answer is I think his IFB is in that ear and it's pulling on the back of it.
Oh, that's a good question.
Oh.
It does look a little silly though.
Goofball.
I'll give you that.
Yeah. But he's got the right take on this.
Is Brian Shapiro, host of Pushing the Limits, the former Illinois governor, Rod Blagojevich.
Look at this guy. Bro. Look at this guy.
Here you have apparently Jeff.
The U.S. Department of Justice have now released over 3 million new documents related to the Epstein investigation. Unfortunately for Elon Musk, his name was found over 1,000 times in the files, which is making him crash out on Twitter. Despite Elon's long history of stating he only met Epstein once for 30 minutes, the new files reveal them talking from 2012 to 2014, including Elon talking about visiting Little St. James Island, with emails showing him asking about the wildest party dates, and Epstein doing business with Elon's company Solar City. Elon continues to maintain he did nothing wrong, and never visited the island. However, the friendliness of these exchanges have sparked more questions and backlash than answers. The connection between Epstein and Elon goes back to September 24th, 2012, when Epstein emailed Nicholas Pritzker, "Tell Elon that the blonde that walked with me is a friend of his mother's, that tried to set her up with him. Her name is Yevka Skirm. Apparently this is a real person and not an Epstein typo." Nicholas Pritzker writes back, "Whoa, Elon is doing great as you saw. Thanks for another mind-bending time." They added an Elon who wrote, "That was indeed a very enjoyable conversation," with Epstein replying, "Hopefully the first of many. Sorry for all the typos." The conversations continued in October 2012, when Epstein reached out to see if Elon's company Solar City could electrify his private Caribbean island and New Mexico ranch. He then forwarded the request to his cousin Peter Rive, founder of Solar City. Notably, at this point, Jeffrey Epstein was a well-known convicted sex offender in Florida for the past 4 years, since 2008. A week later, Epstein initiated another exchange of emails, writing to Elon, "Saw your brother. He seems very happy. Do you know your Europe plans yet?" Elon replied, "I would love to come to Europe, but have a confluence of SpaceX, Tesla, and Solar City activity right now that makes the timing impossible." Epstein wrote, "Sorry to hear that you need to revamp your priorities. Come to Island in November, you won't suffer." How can he be so bad at typing that he's throwing multiple equal signs in there? Elon wrote back to this invitation, "Late November is a possibility. Between now and then, I have to complete the Dragon mission, get Tesla to cash flow positive at long last, and help execute the Solar City IPO. Could definitely use a break after that." A week later, on October 19th, Epstein wrote to Elon, "I will be in New York for next week. We'll see your brother and his new romance." Elon replied, "The world needs more romance. I will be in New York around mid-November for some media events, but not before. Tallulah and I are headed to St. Barth's at the end of the year. I assume Yo will most likely be on your island." Elon is such a loser, he's trying to mirror Epstein's awful typos exactly just to look foolish. Epstein replied to him, "An easy but correct assumption. We will catch up either in New York, or I will send a heli to St. Bart for you, 45 minutes away." Elon asked, "What's a good time to come over?" "Between December 23 and 30. Epstein said, "Probably after Xmas Day. Any day. Let's choose a sunny one. Glad you are coming." Elon confirms, "Let's aim for December 28, 29, or 30. Looking forward to it." A few weeks later, Epstein sent Elon an email asking, "How many people will you be for the heli to Island?" Elon replied, "Probably just Tallulah and me. What day/night will be the wildest party on your island?" I'd like to point out, Elon is doing this from his SpaceX work email. How absolutely insane does he have to be to ask a convicted sex trafficking criminal for his wildest pedo island party dates on his work email? The party discussion continued on Christmas Eve, when Epstein messaged Elon saying, "You are welcome to stay or just come for the day. Plenty of room. I will send heli to get you." Elon responded, "You have any parties planned? I've been working to the edge of sanity this year, and so, once my kids head home after Christmas, I really want to hit the party scene in St. Bart's or elsewhere and let loose. The invitation is much appreciated, but a peaceful island experience is the opposite of what I'm looking for. Epstein wrote, "Understood. I will see you on St. Barth. The ratio on my island might make Tallulah uncomfortable." Elon says, "Ratio is not a problem for Tallulah." The next week, at the start of the new year, Epstein emails him again. "Anytime to Narwhal in St. Barth's? Does this guy not have autocorrect at this point?" Elon replies, "Could meet for lunch. We'll be with Tallulah and her friend Debs." Epstein says, "I will land at 12. Anytime after, great. Look forward to it." The next day, Elon writes, "I've been ill all night. Not sure if it is food poisoning or a bug. Either way, I'm not well enough for lunch. We'll have to meet another time. Sorry about this." Epstein responds, "I understand." 1 month after this, in February 2013, SpaceX employee Leslie Groth emails Epstein confirming his lunch with Elon at SpaceX in California on Monday, February 25th. The day after this meeting, Epstein writes to Elon, "Thanks for the tour. You would have had fun at Xmas." Elon replies, "I see," smiley face. Less than 2 weeks later, Epstein emailed Elon following a successful SpaceX launch, saying, "Congratulations. Now it's time for fun." Elon writes back, "Thanks. Now I need to focus on Tesla. Hopefully we'll have that sorted out in a few months." Shocker, 13 years later, and it's still not sorted out. Epstein replies, "Will you take a break? April?" And Elon says, "It is 3 a.m. in California, and I'm still working on Tesla and SpaceX email. We'll hit the sack shortly, but be up at 7 for a call. April should be better, but it depends on how well Q1 goes." Well, the next month in April, Epstein reached out again asking, "Are you coming to the East Coast?" Elon responds, "No firm plans." Epstein writes, April 23, "You are welcome to come to dinner with Woody Allen and crowd at my house. It will be fun." Elon says, "Thanks. I might be in town for the time 100. Not sure yet." Epstein adds, "Great. Last minute is always okay. In town is the former Israeli defense minister, Ehud Barak. I think you would enjoy him." First, hilarious way to write this demon's name. Second, Woody Allen, Ehud Barak, Epstein, and Elon? That's a blunt rotation from hell. A few months after this, on September 11th, 2013, Epstein invited Elon to visit New York again, saying, "Any plans for New Year's? The opening of the General Assembly has many interesting people coming to the house." Elon replied, "I run and lead product design / engineering for 2 complicated companies. Moreover, SpaceX is about to launch what is arguably the most advanced rocket in history. Flying to..."
Why is he flexing to another rich dude about this? Like, nobody gives a fuck at that level, bro. Like, they all have something going for them, right? Like,
New
who
York
cares
to
what
see
you're doing?
UN diplomats do nothing
know what you're
would be
doing,
an
bro.
unwise
It's so
use
cringe.
of time. Epstein then says, "Do you think I'm R-worded? Just kidding. There's no one over 25, and all very cute." At the end of the year, just
Yeah,
before...
that's exactly what I thought. Bro, the moment people start over-explaining their position, it's like, what are you doing, bro? You're ruining the vibe. Even, even Epstein, bro. Even fucking Epstein, right? Was like, "Elon, you're a fucking retard, bro. I don't want you in my parties." I feel like Jeffrey Epstein thought Elon Musk was a fucking op, man. I think Jeffrey Epstein thought Elon was a fucking spy or something. He didn't trust him. Elon could not act human. He's just not. He can't hang. And I feel like if you're doing shady shit like what Jeffrey Epstein does all the time, you gotta know what type of people you hang with. And people like Elon, they'll fuck you up, man. They'll fuck you up. That's just how it is. Everybody knows that, you know?
Epstein then says, "Do you think I'm R-worded? Just kidding. There's no one over 25, and all very cute." At the end of the year, just before Christmas on the 13th, Elon emailed Epstein saying, "We'll be in the BVI / St. Bart's area over the holidays. Is there a good time to visit?" He replies, "Any day 1st through 8th. Play it by ear if you want. Always space for you." Elon writes, "Okay, probably the 1st then." Epstein responds 10 days later, on Christmas. "The 2 or 3 would be perfect. I will come and get you." Elon messages back, "I need to fly back to LA on the night of the 2nd. Then forgets to finish writing the rest of the sentence. He says in another email, "Actually, I could fly back early on the 3rd. We will be in St. Bart's. When should we head to your island on the 2nd? Epstein failed to respond by New Year's. So Elon had his SpaceX employee reach out, saying, just a reminder, Elon Musk was asking about coming to your island on January 2nd. Unfortunately for Elon, Epstein actually did respond and he just missed it. Late on December 30th, Epstein wrote, "Bad news. Unfortunately, my schedule will keep me in New York. I was really looking forward to finally spending some time together, with just fun as the agenda. So I'm very disappointed. Hopefully we can schedule another time in the near future." What makes this message so funny is that if you search for this phrase in the files, Epstein uses this exact excuse multiple times. Elon, through streaming tears and gritted teeth, responded, "No problem." A year went by, and again in December of 2014, Epstein emailed Elon writing, "Reed was on the island last weekend. Do you think you will be in Carib for Xmas? New Year's?" However, it looks like at this point Elon blocked the address, so the email never made it to him, allegedly. But the return message definitely looks like something he made up. Now, believe it or not, these newly released Epstein files aren't the first time Elon's name has come up, because in September 2025, the House Oversight Committee released 6 pages from the Epstein files, showing a potential schedule from the island, which says, under Saturday, December 6, 2014, reminder Elon Musk to island, December 6. Parentheses, is this still happening? Vanity Fair reported more on Elon and Epstein's relationship in 2019. Writing, Epstein remained a fixture in elite circles, even after he was a registered sex offender. A few years ago, for example, he was a guest at a dinner in Palo Alto, hosted by LinkedIn co-founder Reid Hoffman, or the MIT neuroscientist Ed Boyden. At the dinner, Elon Musk introduced Epstein to Mark Zuckerberg. Mark met Epstein in passing one time at a dinner honoring scientists that was not organized by Epstein. Zuckerberg spokesman Ben LeBolt told me. Mark did not communicate with Epstein again following the dinner. In an email, Elon Musk responded, "I don't recall introducing Epstein to anyone, as I don't know the guy well enough to do so. Epstein is obviously a creep, and Zuckerberg is not a friend of mine." Several years ago, I was at his house in Manhattan for about 30 minutes, in the middle of the afternoon with Tallulah Riley, as she was curious about meeting this strange person for a novel she was writing. We did not see anything inappropriate at all, apart from weird art. He tried repeatedly to get me to visit his island. I declined. Less than 1 month after these reports on Epstein started picking up, on August 10, 2019, Jeffrey Epstein died in New York by apparent suicide. And everyone definitely believed that story. In 2020, a photo of Elon with Ghislaine Maxwell started to circulate online. Elon responded on Twitter, "Don't know Ghislaine at all. She photobombed me once at a Vanity Fair party several years ago. Real question is why VF invited her in the first place." The party in the photo seemed to take place in 2014. Elon Musk started to quiet down a little bit for the next 4 years as the Democrats took office, except for the fact that he bought and mass censored Twitter, flooding it with bots, and destroying its value to advertisers overnight. More questions regarding Epstein were raised in May 2023, when the US Virgin Islands sued JP Morgan Bank over enabling Epstein to pay recruiters and victims. Elon was subpoenaed to testify in the case. Additional details regarding their relationship went quiet for the next 2 years. However, Elon was once again in the spotlight when Trump gave him control of the Department of Government Efficiency in 2025. In May of that year, Bill Gates said his Gates Foundation will have to close because of Elon Musk cutting government funding to them. Not to support Elon, but why are we giving tax money to one of the richest billionaires in the world? Just so he can do stuff like gatekeep the COVID vaccine to make money. Elon, in response to Bill Gates, got on TV calling out his ties to Epstein.
Who does Bill Gates think he is to make comments about the welfare of children, given that he frequented Jeffrey Epstein?
Okay, well, he said he regrets those, and he's spent.
You can see in his face how not confident he is about bringing up Epstein, talking about welfare of children when he has like 13 he doesn't talk to. Pretty quickly after this, Doge fell apart, with Elon Musk going after Trump on Twitter, writing on June 5th, 2025, "Time to drop the really big bomb. Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That is the real reason they have not been made public. Have a nice day, DJT. Less than 2 days after this, Elon walked back his statement by deleting his post. He made a new tweet saying he'd apologize to Trump as soon as there's a full dump of the Epstein files. That post was also later deleted. Trump's response to the whole thing was, "That's called old news. That's been old news. That has been talked about for years. Even Epstein's lawyer said I had nothing to do with it. It's old news. It's old news. This has been talked about for years and years. And as you know, I was not friendly with Epstein for probably 18 years before he died. I was not at all friendly with him." On Friday, he told ABC News' Jonathan Karl that he was not particularly interested in talking with Musk. "You mean the man who has lost his mind?" he asked. Later Friday evening, Trump told reporters, "I'm not thinking about Elon Musk. I just wish him well." A month later, on July 8, 2025, Elon Musk tweeted, "How can people be expected to have faith in Trump if he won't release the Epstein files?" Just after this, in September, the House Oversight Committee released 6 pages of Epstein-related documents, which included the mention of Elon's alleged visit to Epstein Island in December 2014. After this, Trump enacted even more revenge on Elon for speaking out by completely disbanding Doge from the government. 1 month later, Elon decided to destroy Twitter even further by enabling a function for the built-in AI chatbot Grok, which allows it to undress any photo of a woman or minor on the timeline, including the mother of Elon Musk's child, who's suing him over it. This has brought on massive investigations by European countries. Moving forward to the end of 2025, the Epstein Files Transparency Act is